Welcome back to the Cinebums decade list. It's been a while. I'm very excited to be back with the crew. My two co-hosts, Carlos and Blaire, are back. It's been too long, guys. I'm excited that you're both back with me here to talk about movies and get brain rot again. So welcome back.
I've been missing the podcast. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, it's been way too long.
Yeah, I know. We have other important things to do, but I'm glad you guys are back.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. And we have a very, very special guest, one of my best friends who also loves film. He's the co-host of the Medium Cool Show / the CEO of Dummy Heart Productions. What a mouthful. Felix Kristensson has joined the pod.
Yeah.
Welcome, dude.
Welcome.
This is my second time. This is my second. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I was on it once before, like in the beginning of the year with Jake's brother, Luke, and then John Newring, who also hosts the Cinebums podcast. We did a Steve Jobs versus Jobs comparison episode.
Great episode. Yeah.
That was fun. And then, like that's the first time I ever did a podcast, like ever. And then after I did that show, I started my own show with my friend that I've been doing for like past 6 months. So that's what the Medium Cool Show is our channel on YouTube. So yeah, the Cinebums is a big inspiration to me. And probably my favorite podcast, honestly.
Oh shit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That was a very, very nice sentiment by Felix. I've been on the Medium Cool Show. The greatest podcast ever. Yeah. Thank you so much. I've been on the Medium Cool Show 3-4 times now, right? Quite a few times. So
yeah, like 3 times. Yeah.
Definitely, we'll plug it right now. It's a great show. Check it out on YouTube, and obviously we'll link in the description. Talking about what we do, just talking about films and the shit we watch. So yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about it more, go ahead.
No, it's just me and my partner. And we just sit in front on a couch and we talk about movies that we see. And then, a lot of good shit on there. But definitely. We've been doing it for like 6 months now, but we want to do it longer.
Yeah, that sounds like my cup of tea, bro.
Hell yeah. If you come to LA, dude, you got a spot on the couch if you want.
You got to hop on the couch.
Oh, hell yeah. I don't know when I'm going to go to LA. I don't know what time of my life is going to happen, but I know it will happen one day.
Yeah. When the time comes, like you'll come on the show because it's all in person. It's all like,
that's an open invite. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
You always got a place to crash, Carlos.
Yeah,
I feel like whenever I do visit LA, it'll be the intent of visiting my friend Cynic and Jake.
Aw, I would love. It would be so good to have you guys out here.
Hell yeah,
just enjoy that. It's so hot right now, so don't come now. But like in 3 months, when it's not 95,
it's horrible here in Georgia. Not to go too much on a tangent, but like it's like 90s, but the humidity adds like so fucking much.
It's fucking suffocating because like it's like 95 degrees, but it says it feels like 108 basically.
Fuck, dude.
Damn.
Carlos, you were shooting your short in that weather, basically?
Yes, but
dude.
Granted, 2 things. One, it was in the forest, so the forest kind of gave us some natural shade. It's not like we were in the blaring sun. But the entire shoot was like a giant hike down this hill. So like the entire film, like a lot of people, including myself, would have to go like up and down this fucking hill. And it was just like super exhausting to do that. Luckily, I didn't have to do it that many times, but I felt really bad for the fucking PAs that, had to go up and down getting like equipment and stuff. But either way, we were a little bit in the shade, so that was good. And also like as far as how hot the days have been in general, it wasn't, gratefully, it wasn't that hot. Like it was hot, but it wasn't as hot as it has been in the past like few weeks. Like the past week here has been insane.
Fuck.
So we kind of got a little lucky there.
Yeah, it's so hot here though in LA. Like
it's rough.
Fucking, the heat is crazy. But Georgia.
Georgia might be. It's probably on par with us in terms of just.
It's just a different kind of heat. But both are horrible.
We don't really have humidity because it never rains here. So that's one plus, I guess. So it's like it's usually just desert heat, where it's like 105, just sun just destroying your body. So it's a different type of thing, but yeah, weather, right?
So how's the weather?
Top 10 weather catastrophes of the 2010s.
Oh, that list would go hard. I'm down.
Blaire and I always secretly want to do like a geography, like top 10 list instead of movies.
Yeah, I really do.
One day we'll have to do that. But
I gotta visit Seattle first.
yeah, exactly. I gotta go more places in life first. But
yeah,
I know how long this is gonna be, so I just want to get right into it. We always go so fucking long, but I love it. I love going long, but we should just jump into the top 10 or our each individual top fives of the 2010s. To be clear, that is 2010 through 2019. We're not going to be talking about any 2020 films. Maybe bad movies anyway. No,
yeah,
but all of them have sucked since Parasite came out. But maybe a bonus app. We'll never, we'll see. But for now, just the 2010s decade. But like just a little table setting, I guess, for that decade. Like, I think Felix, you and I have talked about like this was the time where I, was watching the most movies. So I think this was the hardest list to make because I think I've seen the most movies from this decade by far. Like, I don't know, Carlos and Blaire, if that's true for you guys. Like, was this just like an embarrassment of like riches basically when you're making the top five?
For sure. I've hands down seen the most from this decade. I'm not as cultured as I don't know. I come to mind like Perry or Bill who've seen a fuck ton of movies from like each decade.
True.
Same. It wasn't even a contest. I've by far seen more films in the 2010s than any other decade.
Yeah.
Well, this is such a like developmental period for us, I think.
Yep.
Like definitely like 20, that's like our adolescence. And it's just like a totally like a, formative years, and just finally like discovering films and really trying to study them was like literally like 2011, 2012. Like that's like when I was really kind of getting into like films and seeing a lot of movies. And then I went to film school in the fucking 2010s, like right through like in the middle of it,
Me too.
And so
me too.
Yeah, I think it definitely informed my perception on films and shit. Yeah. So I've seen a fuck ton. This is a hard list, bro. Like,
very hard, yeah.
I'm really glad you brought that up because I was thinking about that earlier. Like this decade of films is like super important to me because I feel like out of all the decades in general, I feel like the decade that people grow up with in terms of like discovering film, at least with me as an aspiring filmmaker, I feel like the films and the filmmakers that I admire a lot in this decade, has a huge influence into my filmmaking style, whether it's like subconscious or conscious. It's just something that is just naturally happening with me right now. And I just think it's really special, to talk about these films because they played a huge part into like, me, realizing, what I wanted to do with my life and also just what I liked in the film in general, and just like opening up my mind to new things as well. So yeah,
very well. Yeah, I totally agree.
That's
I also went to film school for better or worse. Spent a lot of money to go watch films and learn about film, and like I agree because it was like I feel like it's special to have movies coming out when you're really developing your personal voice as a filmmaker or film lover, whatever. Because going back and watching old movies is definitely important. Like, we love the 70s, we love classic film in the 50s, but there's something about new movies and this new sense of like styles and voices in film that you discover, especially in the 2010s when we're all, 18, 19 years old. Like those films are going to stick with us, I think. And I think all of our top fives are going to stick with us forever, and just they always be like a defining film in terms of our taste or outlook on the world or whatever. Because what both of you guys said about developing during that time and becoming a Kino lord,
dude,
Carlos. So I'm hyped to do the list, is what I'm saying. I'm very excited.
I was 13 in 2010, and then I turned 23 in 2019. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's like all those films. Like I was totally like, yeah, totally different person, and just yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't think there's going to be any decade like the 2010s. I think just for me personally, I mean, I definitely would say the 70s is my favorite decade, but
Me
it's not
too.
going to be anything as personal as like the
Yep.
2010s, like ever. Yeah. So
Yeah.
We are
yeah,
biased, but like the 2010s also had a boom similar to the 70s and the 90s, where it was just a ton of independent art house
yeah,
filmmakers just emerging. We're going to talk about them, but and like more directors that we talked about before, like Von Trier, Tarantino, the Coens, who like thrived even more. So it's just really stacked overall. So let's not beat around the bush anymore. Let's just talk about the films. We'll do our top fives, then we'll do like, I know we have like probably a ton of honorable mentions to go through, but we'll do that before we do our top 10 list. But for now, let's just start from 5 to 1. And Felix, since you're our guest, you can
oh,
kick us off with your number 5 film, sir.
all right. So number five, I have Mandy from 2018, directed and
Hey,
Nice.
fucking
written, but
love Mandy.
Me too.
yeah, I mean, it's fucking Mandy. You know what I mean? Like that's a written
Enough
directed
said.
by yeah Panos Cosmatos. This movie I saw twice in theaters when it came out at the Music Box in
Hey,
Chicago,
shout out.
and I don't know. I like felt like I'd never seen anything like this before. I didn't see like it's just this crazy mood, atmosphere, aesthetic that just I'd never like just and it was just so well done and like everything is just so fucking dope in this world. Even though it's like a period piece, but like I don't know, it feels like it's almost like another planet and just the style I just never super like impactful on me and the whole story, the revenge story. I love revenge shit. And yeah, just like the I love the parts where like the face is like melting and shit and the whole like acid storyline and Nicolas Cage. I mean, this is kind of like the beginning of the Nicolas Cage sort of like renaissance as well. Like
Definitely.
later on, we like kind of came back and I don't know, this movie kicks ass, and that's like what I have to say about it. Yeah,
Great pick. Very,
yeah.
very defining of the Felix aesthetic for sure.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm in love with Mandy. Like, you know what? Like, just you talking about it makes me want to watch it again because I haven't seen it in like at least 4 years at least.
yeah.
That movie is so fucking good. I watched it in theaters. It was like a one night only screening in Atlanta, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm going." And I bought my tickets early, and I'm glad I did because like by the time I got there, like it had already been sold out for hours. And I got in there and I experienced this movie, and I was just fucking mind blown. I really, really loved it. Um,
Yeah,
I was
I was
like,
mind blown too. Yeah.
I was like one of the few people that, and like at first, I enjoyed the first half more than the second half. Um, Maybe it's just because like at the time I really just loved like atmospheric and vibey slow cinema,
Hmm.
and like I just really, really loved the way the first half was presented stylistically, and I just couldn't get enough of it. So when I transitioned into that kind of fucking like badassery, like Nick Cage revenge type of movie, it was a little jarring at first, and it became like such a different kind of movie stylistically.
Hmm.
But on second watch, I've come to appreciate the second half a lot more. Like I just love it like as a whole now. I mean, I think I like stylistically the first half better, but as a whole, like I just love all of it. It's just so fucking great.
Yeah, no, it's a sick ass movie, and definitely I can see like that transition because I feel like the first half is like not the movie Mandy is the second half because he has like the credits, like the credit title card like halfway through the movie, and that's like when Mandy comes
Yeah,
in. And it's almost like definitely like two different movies, but I feel like
Hmm.
it's a journey of this character and shit, but
Definitely.
just like
I
so dope. Yeah.
I have seen the movie twice, and oh my god, I loved it the first time, and watching it the second time just like really heightened my fucking love for it. I saw it was in the pandemic, and God, yeah, I love both halves, like pretty much the same to the same degree, for unique reasons. Like the second half to me is like almost complementary to the first half. Like it doesn't take me out because the whole surrealism, like alternate dimension feeling is like still there. It just like completely ramps up and just like gets insane, obviously. And yeah, I adore it.
The cosmic horror is still there for sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for real.
It's funny, Carlos, you bring that up about the two distinct halves because at the time, I much preferred the second half, and it wasn't. I guess it was because I was really into like B revenge movies and like these 70s grit that I was super into. Not that I disliked the first half, but I think I was more sold, like even seeing the trailers and everything about the second half being this insane revenge sort of cosmic horror, like just acid trip. And I was kind of waiting for that, and I was a little impatient. But maybe on second watch, I've never seen this film a second time. I should really give it another watch. But I do also want to mention the scene in the bathroom with the vodka and everything. That's like one of the most viscerally like just satisfying moments. Like I remember in a theater, like everybody just was like uproariously cheering at that scene, and I was like, all right, this is next level stuff. And Cage is phenomenal in that film, obviously. And Panos,
what I love so much about that scene too is that like that almost like that scene alone marks as like the official transition like into madness. He's like
exactly
like Cosmatos was like, okay, like how do I transition this into what this film is going to be now? And he's like, I'm gonna have Nick Cage do his thing in the fucking bathroom, and everybody fucking loved it. And it's so iconic now. Like that scene itself is so fucking iconic.
Yeah, I see it a lot
much
on like meme pages and shit.
It is,
of course.
It is. Felix, I don't know if you're going to bring this up, but I do love the sentiment about how like this is a film he made for his dad, like getting over his dad's death, who's also a filmmaker, and like this kind of like this therapeutic exercise for him to exercise like his grief and the rage he felt after he lost his dad. So, and you wouldn't expect that from watching this film because it is so just out there and stylized, but I think that's a really cool detail that he talked about. Yeah.
Well, Mandy has a lot of similarities to Cobra from 1986. Like the style of that and like the cult stuff they have and the like the axe and everything and the colors, the reds. It's very like it's a lot like his father's work, and that's really a dope thing. And just Panos Cosmatos just like turns it up like 10, like fucking so unique, just coming out like two movies that are just so idiosyncratic as well. And I'm really excited for like his next picture, and then also the short he did for Cabinets of Curiosity.
That's really good. Yeah,
that's like the best one by far on there. Honestly,
that's my favorite thing Panos has ever done.
Yeah, that one. It's the best episode on there out of like the 10 they have for sure.
It's like this Lovecraftian, just it's so crazy.
Yeah,
I highly recommend.
I really need to watch that whole thing, but the Panos Cosmatos one, I had no idea he even made a short on that. That's news to me.
Oh yeah, it's
super good.
Super underrated director, I think. I would definitely put him up there, like some of the most underrated directors today. But yeah, that's a Mandy for you. So
sick.
Hell yeah, it's a great pick, man. I fucking love that movie.
Hell yeah, man. That's my number 5.
Pick
and transition.
Transition.
Felix is running the show now. Blaire, do you want to go next?
Sure. So this is going to be the surprise one that I changed since DMing it to y'all. Hopefully it's a movie that we all enjoy. I picked 2019's Climax from Gaspar Noé.
Oh,
yes.
Hell yeah.
I just want to say that picking another one from 2019 was so tough. I could have gone with a lot of them, but ultimately I want to represent my boy Gaspar Noé.
Fuck you, dude. Fuck yeah. That's my boy too, man.
Let's go. That's fucking awesome.
Same here.
Yeah.
It's crazy because like in his filmography, there's just so many movies I'd be like, oh, that's my favorite one. That's my favorite one. And like Climax is definitely no stranger to it. I mean, like, I literally love everything from the amazing dancing sequences at the beginning to the improv dialogue, like transitioning to the fucking LSD trip that everybody goes through. And God, once that trip just gets going, it's just non-fucking stop. There's so many like amazing one-shot takes that just makes you completely feel on edge. And not to mention like the whole cast of characters are pretty much all of them are extremely memorable. And there's so many of them. Like it made me really appreciate like Sofia Boutella as an actress. I've never seen her in anything, but she's like amazing in that movie. And yeah, I mean, it's in terms of like a cinematography standpoint, it's like god tier, literally. Yeah, how do you guys feel about Climax?
Love it.
Did you guys see it in the theaters?
I
Yes.
did.
I did.
Must see
Okay.
masterpiece.
I had a
Did you guys have
major
walk-
panic attack.
Did you guys
in
have
the best way.
walkouts?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely
Nah,
did. There was
I
a
didn't
lot
have
of
any walkouts.
there's a lot of older
No.
folks in my
Walkouts.
screening.
No, there
Um,
was some walkouts, and
I saw some walkouts when the acid, when the stuff gets really dark and the acid really starts hitting. People were upset. I could tell, and they walked out. But
Mhm.
What did they even expect to watch? Did they even just walk into a random movie? Like,
I have no idea. I think
Imagine sorry.
I was gonna say Vortex had a similar thing. There was
Yeah.
people walking out. Yeah.
Like, imagine
I-
walking into a Gaspar Noé with no expectations.
No, that's my cousin. I took my cousin to go see. He didn't want to know anything about it at all. Like, didn't want to know anything. And I remember in the beginning, like people were cheering, and he's like, "What did you like bring me to? Is this like a porno?" And I'm like, "I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, I don't know." But definitely, like that intro in the snow with the fucking like the overview of her walking in the blood
yes.
and the music and the titles. Like,
Mm.
I was when I
so
saw that,
intriguing.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one
when
of
I
the
saw
best,
it, yeah.
one of his best shots ever, in my opinion. That
I knew it
opening.
was going to be a fucking banger when that happened. In the
Dude,
intro.
fucking Gas. I think
So-
one of the many reasons why I love Gaspar Noé so much, and this is probably honestly the main reason, is I just love his like cinematic presentation. Like I love what he does with the camera.
Yeah.
Like he's just such a fucking like visual filmmaker, but in a way that's not like, I mean, yeah, he does tell a story visually, but he's not a filmmaker that, you know, doesn't have dialogue. You know what I mean? Like he's not like Refn to where like, you know, the visuals are the storytelling like almost all the time. With Gaspar Noé, like, yeah, the visuals are the storytelling, and he's just fucking has this amazing, like, you know, flashy style to him that I just can't get enough of. But like all the films that I've seen from him, like it's very character driven, it's very dialogue filled, and Climax is a perfect example of that. I just love that film so fucking much. And yeah, the opening scene in the snow, and then that fucking incredible choreographed dance sequence that we get is so fucking great. Like again, just like what Noah does with the camera, how he moves throughout that entire scene, how he focuses on certain characters with different angles. It's just goddamn. Like I just do immediately like sitting down, I was like, this is, I have a feeling like this is gonna be one of my favorite movies of all time.
You know,
Even the title sequence is like fucking fantastic and makes me love it more.
it is. It's so sick. There's some days that is my favorite Noé film. Like as Blair said, like it's I could pick 2 or 3 other ones, obviously, but I mean that's like I feel like
It's
that's
up there.
That's like his magnum opus in terms of just showcasing everything that he's good at, and being very unapologetic about everything. He's a very unapologetic director most of the time, but I mean that movie just goes for it on every facet. You know, in the sound design, the soundtrack, and everything. It's all just such a just mind-numbing experience. And yeah, God, 2019 also was just such a crazy year. I mean, we might talk about it later, but just so many good movies that year.
Yeah, Jasper Noé, like I think sometimes people like write him off as being just like a shocking director, but the thing is, like, yes, he has super duper shocking shit, but it's so well done and like so well crafted that you can't even say shit. Like it's just so fucking cool the way
that's the same
looks,
way I feel about Von Trier. People say the same shit about him.
Yeah, exactly. Lars von Trier, people like write him off, but his shit is so well done that's like you can't say shit, you know?
Yep.
I mean, both those directors also have just so much intent behind their madness, you know, like there's artistry and there's themes in those movies that are like, they're very relatable oftentimes too. So like they're easy to grasp. They're not like, you know, some art house films I've seen in the past where they just feel so distant from you. Like especially Nui and Von Trier feel like in some ways like I can relate to the experiences the characters are going through, and the style feels personal and everything. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
There's no other filmmaker like like Noé. I mean, obviously like Von Trier in terms of like what he's willing to tackle. It's like they're comparable, but literally there's no like Gaspar Noé film other than what he can make.
Yeah.
So distinct.
I mean, seeing like Irreversible for the first time, it's kind of like blows my head open. It was like, wow, this is like you could actually do this with the camera type feeling, and yeah. Definitely. We talked about that in the 2000s, but
Enter the Void too. Shout out Enter the Void.
Enter the Void's camera work is insane.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, he's a treasure to cinema, Gaspar. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
By the way, I watched Climax in theaters, I think 3 times.
Oh man.
Because I just knew this is a film that I'm definitely not gonna have the chance to see this in theaters, and I don't know fucking how long. So I gotta watch this as much as I can.
It's one of his more rewatchable films anyway, because it's like 90 minutes. It's very like it just flies by, and it's like there's so much worth revisiting too in that film. So
speaking of which, the fucking mid credit sequence is so great. I love it so much. Yeah.
Genius. Yeah. Good pick. Great pick, Blair. So
yeah.
Climax. Carlos, do you want to go next or me? Who should?
Carlos.
It's down to 2.
Carlos can go.
All right.
Wait, you do
Felix.
this show.
Yeah. I love that Felix is running the show right now.
No, because I want to. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
I'm all here for that
kidding.
shit.
Oh, come on, man.
Especially for the fact that he said me next. I love that shit. All right. Speaking of Nicholas winning Refn, which I brought up earlier, I'm gonna go with a film that is not exactly what you think. You're probably thinking Drive, but it's The Neon Demon.
Oh,
amazing!
Hell yeah!
No Drive.
Gaspar Noé and Nicholas winning Refn in the fucking first picks, dude. Hell yeah,
dude. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I love pretty much everything that I've seen from Refn. I love Drive to death. That was the first Refn film that I've seen. And that film alone really opened my eyes to like art house cinema and like the different and unique ways that cinema could be presented. So, huge props to that film. I love Only God Forgives. I know that there's plenty of people out there that can't stand that film and hate it, but I love that film as well. And all of Refn's like miniseries stuff that he's done, Copenhagen Cowboy and Too Old to Die Young, love both of them. Copenhagen Cowboy is my favorite in terms of like miniseries stuff. Yeah. People need to watch that shit. Like it's
they do
underrated. It just makes me mad. But yeah, The Neon Demon is a film that I watched in theaters. I think I watched it before already. And then I invited Blair to come watch it with me. A second time.
Yeah, that's the only time I've seen it, and I love it.
Oh my god, it's crazy, man! You got to watch it again.
I know it was like how many years ago?
When did this film even come out?
It was in 2016. Yeah,
2016. Yeah. So 7 years ago.
Crazy.
Time fucking flies.
Damn.
And I was just hypnotized by this film. I went into it with high expectations because I loved everything from Refn at that point, but this film just infatuated me and I was obsessed with it. I was obsessed with this fucking movie. Like every year or two, there's always like this one film that I watch, whether it be like recent or like an older film that I just get obsessed with and I can't stop thinking about. I'm always talking about. The Neon Demon was that film for like a year or two. That film, I just couldn't get off my mind. It was actually the very first like video I ever did on a film on my channel. It was a full film deconstruction. I literally went through every single scene of the film and analyzed it and talk about like what I got from it. Wow. It's like a 40-minute video, and it's just a film that I love to death. I got something out of every single scene of the film, and it's a euphoric film. It's an atmospheric film. As I mentioned, it's hypnotizing because that slow reference style mixed in with that score from Cliff Martinez is just, how could it not absorb you and how could it not hypnotize you? Like, it is just so well crafted, so delicately crafted.
Yeah.
It's just I just love it so much. And the themes itself, I just really love. I love the themes about, I mean, obviously, like in terms of setting and everything, it's about the modeling industry in California, I believe. And it is just like the way that it kind of tackles the ruthlessness of the modeling industry, and how in a way it kind of represents the ruthlessness of capitalism and competition in a way that almost like demoralizes the human spirit and will break you down. Like, you could be the most innocent person going into this career, but by the end of it, like, it's going to turn you into somebody that you were before, because that's what it demands out of you. And I just really love the way that Refn tackled that. And I loved what he did with the third act of this film. Like, it just goes there in every single way, just takes a bizarre turn and subverts you in a way that nobody could really predict. And I just love that daring, ambitious, and bold element of Refn as a filmmaker. And that's definitely represented in this film, especially the third act. But yeah, there's so many like amazing sequences in it that are just so like visually stylistic that, again, I could see like how it could turn some people off, but for me, it was just so absorbing. Like that runway sequence we get, where it's just like this visually presented sequence, and it is just, it's so unique. Like, people go like, oh, it's pretentious, it's art housey, but it's like, dude, it's so well crafted, and it's so atmospheric, and it's so like thematic. Like, how can you not like watch this and just at the very least have an appreciation for what you're watching? It's just, I don't know. I love this film to death. Again, the vibe, the atmosphere, the score, the look, the presentation, and the style, the themes, it all just clicked. And again, I was obsessed with it for a long time, and I still like really, really, really love this film. And I think as a whole, it's had a huge, like, it's inspired me in certain ways. So yeah, that's all I'll say. But yeah, that's the Neon Demon. That's my number 5.
Nice. Good detail about Neon Demon. I personally think that, sorry to all the Drive lovers out there, but I think that's his masterpiece personally.
I
Do you agree too?
Yep.
Okay.
What, the Neon Demon?
I think that's his masterpiece. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
I was gonna say, like, most people would say Drive, and I unfortunately haven't seen the TV shows yet, but the Neon Demon, like you said, like, I remember seeing that in theaters, just being put under a spell, like on the visual level, and Cliff Martinez's score just like seeped into me, and like the way the movie progresses, and like the third act that you talked about, like, it was such a shocking but euphoric, just sort of like escalation of events, and without spoiling anything, obviously, but just such an amazing commentary on the beauty industry. And just, I can't believe that he hasn't made a film since then. I mean, I know he's done TV, but like, to end on such a high note right now, like in terms of his filmography, I personally, I think it's his masterpiece that I've seen. So
yeah, I mean, even though I love his like miniseries stuff, I'm dying for him to just make a film.
Yeah, me too. Go ahead, Felix.
Bro, yeah, no, I fucking love Refn. He's definitely like another treasure to cinema. Too Old to Die Young. I fucking love Too Old to Die Young.
Yeah.
That is like, it's so fucking dope. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it.
Fear X.
Fear X. Oh no, Fear X is like probably the only dud in his filmography.
Yeah, that's the only one I really don't like, Fear X, but
definitely.
I haven't seen it.
I think Drive. I would say Drive is my favorite one.
Yes,
I know it's like a
love
normal
that
pick.
I mean, fair enough. Yeah,
it's a brilliant fucking movie, dude.
Yeah, no, it's cinema. It's pure cinema.
Yep.
Nicholas Winding Refn Yeah, I fuck with him. Super, like one of my favorites. Gasper Noe, Refn, like, yeah.
And you said
Maybe,
you
maybe
watched
better. I don't know.
Copenhagen Cowboy, right?
Yeah, I've seen all of them. I've seen all this stuff. Yeah, I fuck with.
You-
Yeah,
Oh,
I fuck with
wow.
Copenhagen Cowboy.
Oh,
I gotta
thank you,
watch
dude.
that. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like I can't talk about that with anybody because I feel like nobody has seen it.
No, it's
Where
so
where do
fucking.
you watch it? Is it on like
It's on
It's on
Netflix.
Netflix.
It's on
oh
Netflix.
shit?
But
I never
wanna-
go on Netflix anymore, so
no, what
I gotta
I wanna
hop on.
Yeah, I think Nicholas Winding Refn has like he's a lot of like his contemporaries and stuff. I think he's always trying to like do like a fresh, new, futuristic movie like every time. It's almost like he's trying to do like this, like trying to push the boundaries of like now contemporary into the future. You
I
know,
can see that.
like he's trying to do like some alien spaceship shit, but there's like no spaceships, but
Or
it's like
aliens.
on Earth. I don't even know. Yeah.
No,
Neon
I know,
Demon,
I know
yeah.
what you mean. Yeah.
Neon
Yeah.
Demon feels very cosmic in that sense to me. That's why I was like,
Yeah.
it feels like you
Yeah.
might be watching like different species other than human beings, and I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay, I
No,
get
He is-
this.
Copenhagen
Yeah.
Cowboy has that vibe, like just turned up, like the whole alien shit.
For
And it's
sure.
Copenhagen Cowboy is very animated too, like in a weird way.
Mm.
But sorry, Blair, go ahead.
All I was gonna say is that he is really great at like world building and especially through his style, of course. I haven't seen Copenhagen Cowboy, but I can speak for Neon Demon and Too Old to Die Young that his style is like amazingly utilized in those two projects.
Definitely.
Mm.
Also, I wanted to say
Yeah.
shout out to Carlos for outdoing Chris Stuckman in his Analyze video. 40 minutes. Fucking make Chris Stuckman look
Yeah,
like a
man.
noob, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Every frame, every scene.
Every
That's
single scene, dude. Literally every
That's
single
awesome.
scene.
To go to
I
watch
mean,
that.
the fucking audio quality is like dog shit, but it was my first video. Like for my first video, it got like I think at this point it has like 30,000 views, so it's kind of crazy.
Oh shit.
Didn't you re-upload it though with better audio?
I did, yeah. I
Yeah.
basically just like upped the volume of the audio and then like re-uploaded it, so you can go watch that version if the audio is too shitty in the original.
I feel that, dude. I mean, one of our first podcasts on Cinebums sounded like shit. Because we don't know what the hell you're doing, but it's
Yeah.
you just want to talk about movies more than anything. So you're just like, fuck
Yeah.
it. So yeah, I'm so happy that's our Refn movie. You have no idea. I was
Yeah.
hoping for it. So
I'm happy I put it on there.
Me too.
totally.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Remember Felix like a month ago we watched Drive and Only God Forgives in one night. That was a
Yeah.
good night.
And we watched Only God Forgives first.
Yeah,
We
so
watched
weird.
Drive afterwards, like at midnight
Yeah.
or something. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That was a great double feature.
good double feature.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm.
All right, good shit. I'll go next. My number 5 is Melancholia by
Oh my
aforementioned
God.
Lars von
Let's
Trier.
fucking go.
Oh man.
Great film.
Great,
Great
film.
film. Yeah, I mean, we not to mention we got the infamous Nazi quote at Cannes from this film, so that's the best thing we got, right? No, I mean,
I understand Hitler.
I understand Hitler. I
Yeah,
love the
he's
Nazi
like-
aesthetic. It's such
That
a
is
great
the-
video.
That is the best video on the internet, bro.
I watch it maybe like twice a year. I love it so much. But controversy aside, I know that's an easy wormhole to go down, but I think like in terms of Von Trier, like this is like structurally his most interesting work. Just because like the whole wedding sequence in the beginning and like it's so disorienting and confusing and just the way he sets up her depression in that sequence. And then the second half being sort of her and Charlotte's Gainsbourg just sort of dealing with the depression, but also that the fact that two planets are about to collide in very, Lars von Trier sort of nihilistic fashion. The world, if I feel if I feel so shitty, the world should feel as shitty as I do is kind of the mantra I get when I watch this movie. But just the take on depression, I think is so interesting, and his use of like imagery mirroring Ophelia, like the image of her in the water is like such a iconic masterpiece image, that harks back to like classic paintings and stuff. So on a technical level, I think it's like my favorite thing he's ever done next to Antichrist. Just visually so sumptuous and just striking on every level. And as someone who deals with severe depression, I just think this movie just gets the debilitating factors of it, the humorous parts of depression, the hopelessness of it. And Von Trier has always been a director who just wants you to feel as shitty as he does. In my opinion, as time goes on, I really realized that. And I think Melancholia is sort of where things took a turn. And just ever since I saw this film, like I think about it so much, as I do with so many Von Trier's. And yeah, what can I say? I understand Hitler. I love this fucking movie.
Somebody upload that as a YouTube short for Cinebums.
Yeah,
Please.
dude, that'll go viral.
Clip me. Yeah. What do you guys think of Melancholia though?
Brilliant.
Yeah,
It's it literally, I agree with you, Jake. Like, this movie tackles mental illness, specifically depression, in such a brutal fucking way. I'm sure this isn't like anything new to add necessarily, but I just love how the wedding setting is like supposed to be like the best day ever for a lot of people, and to her, she's just like, she can't really help it. She's just fucking indifferent, or she can't feel that joy that she wants to feel. And just as the movie progresses and like the worlds colliding thing, like it's just like despair so brilliantly done on screen. Like, and oh my god, like what sticks out to in my mind is like the scenes of like Charlotte Gainsbourg like being in such a state of anxiety and, like I said, despair, like coming to grips with her world is about to collapse. Like, she sells it so fucking well. It's really disturbing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
She sort of becomes like the sub protagonist in the second half, because she's like, it becomes like it's about how other people have to deal with someone else's crippling depression, and literally like worlds colliding, and she like finally understands why it's so like debilitating and like life altering, obviously in a very hyperbolic fashion, as Von Trier does. But I agree. And Charlotte Gainsbourg, like one of her best, I haven't seen Nymphomaniac, but like one of her greatest acting performances of this in Antichrist. She's fantastic.
She is fantastic.
I love the ending too.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not going to spoil it or anything, but like, I just love what it also like dives into, like the like in terms of dealing with the end of the world through a children's lens and a children's perspective. I love the way they kind of go about that as well. It's just like it's a great like conglomerate of like all the themes coming together there at the end, and I just love it.
Totally.
It's one of my all-time favorite endings.
I was just gonna say, like, the final shot of this movie is maybe my favorite shot, like top 10 favorite shots.
Literally ever. Me too, dude. It is, oh my god, it's like beautiful.
It's so it's like otherworldly. Like, you can't explain how it makes me feel, but it's like it just wraps everything up.
What I love so much about the shot in general, like the very last shot of the film, is that I just feel like you don't get scenes like that, like in film. Like, you always get it presented in a very exaggerated and silly and over stylized way. And here with Von Trier, it just felt so grounded, and it felt like the way that I would kind of perceive it, if it actually were to really happen. And I don't know, I just felt like it was just really cool and refreshing and beautiful to see it captured in the way that he did at the end there.
Yes. Yeah. I totally agree. Yeah. Go ahead, Felix.
Yeah, like I didn't like feel good after I watched this movie, but that's like, I guess, like the point. But it is like a fantastic piece of art. And I think the moment that gets me the most in the movie, where I feel like shit, like hopelessness, is when I don't know if it's like a spoiler, but like Kiefer Sutherland is supposed to be like this really stand-up guy. And then just like what he does, and I'm just like, bro, like you're the biggest fucking coward ever, bro.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Unbelievable.
That shit really like hit. Like when I first saw that, I was like, I felt like shit. I
immediately thought like what a fucking coward. Those first words came into my mind. I'm like, wow.
He's a piece of shit in that movie.
Like, he's a big piece of shit.
Spewing he's spewing facts about astronomy as she's dealing with like the worst shit ever. It's like, fuck off, dude.
Yeah. No,
so
that part really like stuck with me in my mind when she like takes the hay off and I was just like, I can't believe he did that shit. Like,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
I need to watch that movie again. I only saw it once, like 5 years ago, but
Same here.
I remember like a lot about it.
It's hard to rewatch, but yeah, I was gonna say like I've seen it twice, and certain scenes and like just the way the movie unfolds is like just burned into my brain. Yeah, I think it's a must see masterpiece.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah. Von Trier, Refn, and Noe.
Oh my
Well,
God.
Yeah,
and
we're getting the big ones out of the way.
Panos too. Don't forget
Panos Carlos
Panos,
Tomato.
your guy.
Yeah, no, that definitely. Panos.
JJ Abrams, we mentioned him before the podcast.
Yeah,
Uh,
JJ Abrams.
all right, Felix, you go ahead. You're number 4.
Oh yeah, okay. So my number 4 comes from another person, another director I think is very underrated. And that's S. Craig Zoller. And the film that I have is Brawl in Cell Block 99. Brawl in Cell Block 99.
Cell in 99
Tongue
Bronx.
twister.
From 2017.
Fucking go, dude.
Yeah. This movie goes hard. It's
Good movie. I like it.
I really love that movie.
Yeah, it's just like a great, dope, badass movie from the beginning to end. I think I just love the sort of minimalist style, but also kind of brings back the sort of 70s sort of like grunge to it, like the sort of I don't know how you would explain it, but like the sort of like grindhouse feel, but it's very, very realistic. Like there's no music in it whatsoever. And just this whole like story about this dude just descending basically into like hell to basically like just like find this guy to like save his wife. I just it's such a compelling story, and it's definitely a film I remember watching the first time where I felt like I didn't want it to end because I was just so drawn into it. Like just the whole
Same.
descent into like the prison system and all of that. Like it's just, and Vince Vaughn just fucking kills it. I had never seen him in a movie like this before. Just like the boxer who takes the fall to go to prison, and yeah, and it's just like brutal in like the coolest badass way ever. Yeah, and he kicks ass in it, and it's fun, and it's awesome. Yeah, so that's my
Fucking
number.
Love
number
that
4.
movie, dude.
Mhm.
I love it so much. Like he's kind of like a monstrous figure. Like there's the scene in the beginning when he's like sort of like destroying his car. It's like you're watching Frankenstein or some shit. Like
Yeah,
he's just like this figure, this sad figure that's just about to go into like deep despair and down a path of misery. And it's like you said, it's super compelling. The wide shots in this movie, I think, is a great stylistic choice. They're like, because you feel like this sort of, I don't know, it's like this off-putting aesthetic that this movie has. And I agree, as Craig Zoller is so underrated. I don't know if you guys have seen like Bone Tomahawk and Dragged Across Concrete are great like throwback B movies, sort of, I guess you'd call them. But Brawl and Cell Block 99 is great. Yeah.
I've seen all of his films, and I really do agree. I really enjoy all of his movies. I think Brawl is my favorite.
Me too.
Coming in second place would be Dragged Across Concrete, but Brawl is just such a fun fucking like epic feeling thing, like from start to finish. It's so entertaining to watch his like journey, like you said, through his descent to hell, because like as the movie goes on, I'm like, fuck, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. It literally feels like a nightmare.
Yeah, and it just like it's not like overly stylized. I think it presents it in such a objective way too. Like it's such a realistic, gritty. I feel like it's a sort of Jean-Pierre Melville movie in a way too. Like it's an S. Craig Zoller movie, but just like that sort of minimalist, like stark style. I really fuck with that.
Yeah, he has this very like slow, subtle style to his movies, but like when he wants to get violent, it's like amped up to 30,000.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm sorry,
go ahead. No, you go ahead. Keep going.
Oh, I was just gonna say I've seen Bone Tomahawk, Dragged Across Concrete, and Brawl in Cell Block 69. But like I don't get me wrong, I really like Brawl, but for some reason I don't remember that one as much as Dragged Across Concrete and Bone Tomahawk.
Fair
I
enough.
think my favorite is probably Dragged Across Concrete.
So good, dude.
It
Yeah.
is really good.
But he just has this like, again, like surprisingly uncompromising slow style to his films. That I really, really enjoy because there's like a reason behind it. I think it's immersive for me personally. And there's an element to his style, like as you said, Felix, that makes it feel realistic. And I think it is because of that kind of slow, subtle style that he has. That kind of, demands patience from his audience, but once he like delivers, he really delivers. But yeah, I get from what I remember from Brawl, I really, really like, and almost all of his films, I love, especially in Brawl, like his use, like his loyalty to like prosthetic practical violence. Like he just doesn't give a shit. He's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm gonna go full prosthetic with this. No CGI, no nothing. And I just love that. I love that he's always gonna do that with his movies, and Brawl especially. Like with the last 25 minutes or so of the scene, it just gets fucking insane with that.
Yeah,
brutal.
for sure.
The final kill is like it's straight out of like a 70s B movie when he crushes that guy's skull.
Yeah,
it's like a very obvious
Such a
like
good
stunt
one.
double. It's like just such a chef's kiss to like end it off. And I always remember the scene he fights that one other like kind of jacked prison guard, and he like snaps his arm in half.
Yeah,
and the sound effect is like just pierces your ears.
Yeah,
and, like everyone's reaction whenever I've showed them that movie is just like viscerally like fuck. Like it is it's so enjoyable. Yeah, I agree. It's like with Blair, it's such a fun ride to take every time.
It is very visceral, though. I will agree with you. Like I remember for whatever reason, I think my favorite scene might be like the prison scene where he like fucking beats the shit out of a lot of people. Like
that's
holy
a great
fuck.
scene.
There's a scene where he's like, I didn't realize the flag was red, white, and burrito.
I know, yeah. That's fucking yeah.
When he's trying to like work out or something.
And he's like, that's right, I'm loco. Get the fuck out of my way. And just kills all of them. And I just wanted to cheer. Even though it's a very racist scene. But nonetheless.
No good characters in it. That's what I love, by the way.
It is fun that way, yeah.
I love shit like that. Yeah.
Dude, Don Johnson shows up and like the final
Oh my god, dude, yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Great pick, Felix.
Yeah.
I personally will go to bat to that one when we decide the top 10.
Me too.
Blair, you're up next with number 4.
All right, my number 4 is a movie that I feel like might be a little divisive. I have no idea how Jake and the other guest feels about this movie. So I'm gonna go with 2018's Suspiria, the remake.
I love this.
So this movie, like I said, it's kind of divisive. People who like it okay or think it's like pretty good, but legitimately every single time I watch this movie, it just gets better and better and better to the point where when I first watched it, I was like, it's amazing, but it has flaws. Now I legitimately think it's like a masterpiece. I adore pretty much every artistic decision that Luca did. Obviously, Tilda Swinton does an amazing job playing multiple characters, and Dakota Johnson, this is easily her best role.
Easily.
Yeah, and fucking love Mia Goth as well. Like, I love movies that have to do with like witches and stuff like that. So that's already like a Blair core element. But not only that, it was so brilliantly used with the whole like dance ritual, making it feel like there's some kind of supernatural element to it. It's a pretty long movie, but to me, like I love the structure of this movie a lot. It flows really well. It is slow, but to me it just kind of like takes its time with its environment and its characters, and the bursts of like violence are to use the word again, it's like very visceral and really memorable. I'll never forget like my first time watching it and feeling like that kind of feeling when the first like dance choreograph and like the girl breaking her fucking bones and shit, like that was,
Yes.
yeah, it's so great. It's also one of the most well shot films of the decade, in my opinion. Like, it's absolutely stunning to look at. I think Luca in general, he really, every film of his just looks beautiful, and Suspiria might just be his like most gorgeous looking film.
Mm.
So yeah,
I think I might agree there. And Luca's one of my favorite modern directors. Just such a distinct voice in cinema these days. And I love Suspiria. I understand why it's so divisive, and being a fan of the original, like deeply, I think that's one of my favorite horror movies. But like his take on it is so interesting, and the way he incorporates like the politics of the war at the time and everything was just so fascinating. I do owe it a rewatch because I haven't seen it since theaters, but I do think it's a wonderful film. Because like you said, it's very long. It's pretty arduous and exhausting from what I remember, but just some of the best moments in cinema of the decade, though. Just with what you said with the bones breaking and the final, I don't want to spoil, but the scene.
It gets crazy in the fucking end. Jesus Christ.
Just fucking incredible. Tom York's score is really incredible too.
I love Tom York's score.
So I totally see why you put it in the top 5. But Carlos has been a little silent. I'm curious what he thinks about it.
I don't really have much to say about it, honestly. I remember when I watched it the first time. I watched it on Halloween, I think, actually, with Blair.
Yeah, we watched it together.
Sweet.
And I thought it was great, honestly, when I first watched it, but I don't remember all that much about it. And I mean, there's certain elements of it that I do remember, like the obvious stuff. But the bones breaking scene and the whole like climax of the film. But overall, I think with time it's kind of gone down in quality in my head. So I do owe it a rewatch, but it's kind of one of those things you said, Jake, like it does feel pretty long and it does feel like a little exhausting to get through. But I don't have much to say on it, really. From what I remember, it's a good movie. I haven't seen the original Suspiria either.
You're not gonna like it. Damn. I'm sorry to say.
If you don't think,
no, there's no fucking way, Carlos.
What?
Like,
dude, that movie is one of the best shot movies I've ever seen in my life.
I really like the OG Suspiria. It's just like I mean, Carlos, you've seen other Giallo films, right?
So other Italian
I know it's
horror,
not technically Giallo, but
Italian horror,
supernatural Italian horror picture.
I mean, it's kind of like corny. I mean, it's gorgeous to look at and it's really interesting, but I mean, it's like corny and stuff.
I've only seen Dario Argento's opera, which I actually really liked.
Dude, opera kicks ass.
Opera's great. You might like Suspiria then.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mean to discourage you. I'm sorry.
I want him to watch it now.
Yeah, me too.
I will send you my 4K Blu-ray of it.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think Perry likes it, so that was also a basis.
Yeah. Go ahead, Felix. I know you're Mr. Italian horror, so.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so going back to Suspiria 2018, what we have to mention in this is that fucking Tilda Swinton fucking kills it in this movie.
Oh yeah,
she's insanely good.
She plays the role of like the lead witch of the coven, and she plays the dude in it, the man investigator, and just like. That's like something that really like sticks out to me. I've actually seen this movie 3 times. I saw it once in Chicago at the Music Box, and then I've seen it twice. I've seen it twice in the past like 6 months. So
nice.
It's very clear in my head, but I don't know. I definitely feel like I love the structure, like you said, and this whole aspect of the hostage situation that's going on at the same time, and this like sort of political, like you're also in Berlin and like, you know, during like in 1977 or whenever it takes place, and you have this whole like political backdrop that's kind of adds to the whole like paranoia, like anxiety of what's going on in this witch coven. And yeah, this movie fucking goes hard as well. I remember when I first saw it, and the climax with all the fucking bloody climax is just insane. I don't know how they did that, all the blood they used, and it goes hard. It goes hard.
Goes hard in the paint.
And I'm a big Italian horror fan. It's probably like my favorite genre, to be honest. of all time. I think Luca Guadagnino was a great a great pick to direct this because remaking Suspiria is like
I was so upset when they announced it. Yeah,
that's a tall order to do because Suspiria is probably like the most famous Italian horror movie of all time. But
yeah,
and he does a good job. He doesn't just copy. It's a less expressionistic style compared to Italian horror. Like Dario Argento uses like purples and red lights, and it's not necessarily supposed to be there, but just like there as like a stylistic choice. Whereas Luca Guadagnino's version is a more realistic, like sort of lighting palette and everything. And
it's the complete opposite of OG Suspiria.
It is.
Exactly.
It's like a sophisticated sort of take on the source material, which I think is really cool. And speaking of Luca, like if we were talking 2020s, I would maybe say Bones and All would make my list because I think that's like one of my favorite movies of the past few years. I'm just saying I love Luca Guadagnino so much, dude.
He's amazing.
Bones and All. Would you just give a nasty look at me?
Yeah, he's
Bones and All.
He's not keen on Bones and All.
The movie's fine.
Oh, it's good. It's very, very good.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's one of my favorite movies last year.
I respect people who love it. I do.
But Call Me by Your Name is also a masterpiece in my opinion. I just think
it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Call Me by Your Name is amazing too.
So anyhow, I love Suspiria. I think it deserves to be on the repertoire here. But Carlos,
all right,
go for it, man.
All right, so this is a film that really opened my eyes to it really opened my eyes to the more stylistic capabilities of cinema. It came out during a time where I also discovered Drive and films of that nature that are very like atmospheric and slow and art housey that I just felt really absorbed into. And I'm talking about a little film called Under the Skin. I'm wearing the shirt as well. Shout out to Jen.
Nice.
Maybe I thought it was Under the Silver Lake.
That's another great film.
Yeah, that's a pretty good movie too.
I love that movie. Yeah.
Me too.
Shout out Under the Silver Lake.
Yes. But yeah, I love this movie. This is a film that I remember I wanted to watch, like ever since. Like I remember I wanted to watch it in theaters, but at the time I couldn't watch it in theaters. I don't know why. Maybe I missed the date, or I didn't realize that I had theaters like in downtown that probably played this film. But I had to wait for it to be released on streaming or physical media. At the time, streaming wasn't like the biggest thing ever. So I had to wait until like it got released on Redbox or at Walmart or some shit like that. So like I'm waiting around, and I remember like it got released, but when I went to Walmart, it's like his whole thing. I went to Walmart and they only had the fucking DVD for it. And I'm like, I want to fucking buy the Blu-ray for this shit. And they were like, we don't have the Blu-ray. I'm like, the fuck? So that was like a whole thing with that. And then I just said, fuck it. I'll just rent it on a Redbox because there's a chance that I might not like it. So why not? Let me just pay $1 and watch it from Redbox. And I fell in love with this film. This film was just so unique and incredibly dark in one of the most subtle ways possible. This film is just presented through such I don't really want to say nihilistic, but it feels very harrowing. It's presented through a very harrowing lens regarding humanity and our place in the world. And again, I would definitely categorize this as a piece of slow cinema because it is very slow with the way that it wants to establish and present its atmosphere. And even with its horror and its terror, like a lot of that is presented in a very slow manner that makes it that much more effective and that much more unique and absorbing. We get once you finally get that first scene with Scarlett Johansson, which by the way gives an incredible performance in this movie. I mean, it's definitely her most subtle performance, but it is also like it's emotionally effective and it's terrifying. But yeah, once we get that first scene of her like in that all black space as she lures like her first victim in, that scene is not only accompanied by an incredible score from Micah Levy, I think it's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Micah Levy. Her score is so good in this film. I remember like seeing showtimes for this film, like somewhere in California, where it was accompanied by a live orchestra.
Yes.
And I was like,
so jealous.
Why the fuck couldn't this exist near me? Because I would pay top dollar to see something like that. But yeah, like once we get like that scene, like that is honestly one of the most terrifying scenes I've ever seen in cinema ever.
Agreed.
It's so haunting and it's so unsettling, and there's just so much there that I appreciate. And yeah, like throughout this like entire film, it's so heavy on symbolism, it's so heavy on theme. But yet the atmosphere on its own is so unsettling and effective throughout your experience as well. That like even if like you're someone who, you know, isn't grasping, you know, all the meanings and everything, you can at least, in my opinion, like kind of be affected by the atmosphere and the feeling and the emotions that this film is like radiating. But yeah, I honestly I haven't seen this film in a very long time, but there was like a spree where I was watching this film a lot, so it's very, very still clear in my head. I've watched this film at least like 7 or 8 times.
Damn.
Yeah, I love this film. It's just been a while since I've seen it, but I've seen it so many times that it's still kind of fresh in my head. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll kind of stop there. I just know that the style of this film and the atmosphere of it and the way that it conveys and expresses like its themes metaphorically is just like I really, really admire this film on a whole other level. I think it's brilliant. Speaking of which, Jonathan Glazer is coming out with a film this year called The Zone of Interest that I hear is like potentially could be one of the best of this decade.
Another masterpiece, yeah.
Incoming, yeah.
So
I was talking about that with Mike. Shout out to Mike, and we were both like, "That's like my most anticipated movie for the rest of the year. I just cannot wait."
Yeah, absolutely. So like after hearing much more about it, like I'm so fucking hyped for that film.
Yes.
So yeah, that's all I'll say. But yeah, this film fucking rocks my socks. I love it so much, and I feel like in a lot of ways, like again with all these films, really, they've all almost like subconsciously influenced like the style that I've kind of established so far as like an artist and a filmmaker. So I huge props to films like this that like came on during a time where like I was really discovering the capabilities and the potential that of the more artsier side of filmmaking that I've really come to admire and appreciate.
Under the Skin, I just want to say it would be like my number fucking 3 of my list, because I know I've been gushing for like every single movie this so far we've talked about, but truly like Under the Skin is a absolutely brilliant one of a kind film, and atmosphere movies are movies I adore like the most, and this movie just is completely dripping with atmosphere, and yeah, it's legitimately like terrifying and like existential and thought-provoking. The cinematography is fucking brilliant. Yeah, I basically echo everything Carlos says, because yeah, Under the Skin is hands down one of my favorite films of the decade, but I wanted to let Carlos take a crack at it rather than me putting out my list. So yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So just my 2 cents on Under the Silver Lake. I've seen this movie one time. I saw it one time like in 2015, and honestly the only thing that I can remember from it is the scene where she's tasting like food for the first time, kind of like
Yeah.
trying to see if she's like human. And then the second part is the guy like with his boner out, like walking on the water,
You
like
would remember
slowly,
that, huh?
slowly like going into like under the
Under the
Lagoon.
Silver Lake. Under the Silver Lake.
yeah, that I remember that just the
Uh.
guy like walking with a straight up like erection towards her, and then just getting
I
some.
don't know what you're. I don't even remember that. I've seen this.
Was it
movie
a
like 5
was it a
times.
boner? I thought it was kind of
Don't you
flopping.
remember?
Not gonna lie. I
No,
I thought it was
part
flippity
doing
floppity.
this thing.
No,
Yeah, doing that thing.
there's literally a part where the guy's like walking towards her because he wants
Bro.
to fuck. And
Flaccid penis is what I remember.
Yeah,
no,
me too.
I think he has a boner. I think he has a boner.
We'll
But
settle that.
anyway.
We'll settle that later on.
Yeah,
but,
we'll settle it later. But anyway, that's I just
Boner or
remember-
not a boner?
Yeah,
people
I
in the
remember is
comments. Bill Griff probably knows. We'll ask him.
Oh no,
Yeah,
Felix, I
that's
think
true.
you're right. I think when he was wearing like his underwear, there was a boner beneath it or something like that.
Now I remember that.
that's
Coming
just
back.
sticking out to me is that you see his dick out and he's walking towards her and she seduces him into underneath the water under the and
Silver Lake.
yeah. We just say
yeah,
it. To
under the
same
Silver
movie.
Lake, under the Silver Lake.
Then
yeah.
Andrew Garfield's down there smashing a
Jerk-
guitar,
jerking off.
jerking off.
Yeah,
Probably
Like
having
he
sex
does.
with some chick because he
Yeah.
just sex that whole movie.
That's a horn dog movie right there.
Yeah.
yeah. But under the Silver Lake, yeah, that's what I remember from it. But
Wow.
sorry, under the skin.
Great
So
Sorry.
good.
great merge of two movies there, man. I will say. I'll
Yeah.
save
Yeah.
my thoughts on Under the Skin for reasons I will not disclose.
Ooh,
Who's next? Am I next?
Carlos.
He just
Oh,
went.
you just went. Oh, never. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Carlos
Good.
fucking.
I'll go
Carlos.
again.
Go
I'll go
again,
again.
no.
My number 3 is I'm just kidding.
Under the Silver Lake. Dude.
Is it Ratatouille?
That's for later tonight.
Toy
Yeah.
Story 3.
Oh man. My number 4 is Certified Copy by
Yes.
Abbas Kiarostami. I want to give Carlos a lot of props because I never would have watched this movie if it wasn't for you. I think because you mentioned you loved
Really?
it. This was like early when I wasn't even in the Discord. I just watched your channel. And I didn't really know who Kiarostami was. And I watched this film and then I was just like, masterpiece. I think this is
Hell yeah. I'm on it.
Yeah, no, thank you for the recommendation. And this is a complex movie, as your analyzed video, check it out, will tell. It's a
Thank
very
you.
complex film. But what I'll say about it, I think I've talked about it a lot on the pod. I'll try to dissect it or whatever. But his use of like artifice in this movie, because he's always been so kind of interested in artifice in filmmaking and like what does film mean to us, what do these like relationships especially on screen mean to us, and the way that this movie depicts the two quote unquote lovers in this movie, and how it sort of challenges that art versus artifice sort of concept, I think is just so riveting in every way. And to me is like Kiarostami like reaching a whole new level. Like he's such a master as to begin with, but this movie kind of like it, I don't know, it's reached different places that I didn't know cinema could offer. And I'm talking very vague because I think this movie is so abstract, but like just the presentation of this film too is like just like the profile shots and like kind of their conversations are just so riveting. He's the master of like very intimate conversations that you'll see in Taste of Cherry and Close Up, obviously. And this movie just is such a twisted take on like, what is love worth it? Is it real? Is it fake? Are the people that we spend our time with, is that like valuable time, or are we wasting it? And this movie just had me thinking a million thoughts while watching it. I think is just one of the most thought-provoking movies I've ever seen. And Kiarostami, rest in peace, because like the films that he ended on, like this and like Someone in Love, are such just wonderful pieces of cinema that really challenge the viewer in the best ways possible. And I think this film's a masterpiece. And maybe my favorite Kiarostami film, up there with Taste of Cherry. And I know, Felix, I want to hear your thoughts because you watched this like a few days ago for the first time. So
Oh yeah.
what did you think of it?
No, I think it's dope. So when I first was watching it, I just thought to myself, like, this is a lot like sort of this before sunset type vibe where it's two
Hmm.
people getting to know each other and talking about art, and then it kind of infuses their own personal lives. But then, like, you get to that halfway point where they do like a little switcheroo,
Little
which is kind of hard.
switcheroo.
It's kind of hard to explain. And then you're like, holy shit, like what? Like, do these
Hmm.
people actually know each other? Do they not? But at the end of the day, it actually doesn't matter because the whole thing is not real because in itself, it is a piece of art that's made up by someone. So whatever they put in there, it's what's going to be real in the story. So they had like that flip from the beginning, and it kind of
Yep.
does like the name says, like certified copy, like is like the fake better or not the fake but the copy better or the original better, and kind of
Hmm.
Yeah.
has this also sort of this F for fake type like narrative as well, like F for fake by Orson
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 Welles.
Welles,
Welles,
yeah.
great
Yeah,
movie.
yeah, and it's like if the copy or the fake is just as good as the original, like does it have the same value to it, that same sort of conversation? I love that. And also just I love the real time element to it, how it takes
Yeah.
place like pretty much in the same exact time that the actual movie takes place. Like the length of the movie is like how long we're spending with these characters, but you kind of feel like you go on this journey. And I love that what Abbas Kiarostami does so well. Like that film he did, Where's the Boy's House, has that same sort of real
The
time.
friend's house.
Yeah, sorry, Where's the
Yeah.
Friend's House? And then Taste of Cherry, like how he does like time, space, and memory. It's just I love it. Yeah,
Hmm.
certified copy's great. Yeah.
Love that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I fucking love Certified Copy. I love that movie so much. I know that both Blair and Perry were like really pushing me to watch that film for a while, and I finally watched it. And I was a little concerned going into it because I was like, I heard that it's basically two people kind of talking philosophy for a long time, and that type of approach and style can sometimes not do it for me. But I was surprised at like how compelling I found it because not like I just know that I find the characters authentic, which I think really, really helped. Um, because I didn't just feel like this was the director, like, writing stuff. Even though that, I mean, that is what it is, but what you can, your job as a director is to write it the best way you can, in the most authentic way that you can, to not give that vibe off. And I never got that vibe. Like I always felt like the characters were authentic and the performances were great and the dialogue was so intelligently written as well. I think honestly, Kiarostami is like the most intelligent filmmaker out there. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, rest in peace, he's not with us anymore, but like in general, like, you know, I always found his scripts and his approach to filmmaking to be incredibly intelligent, like by far, like far and above most of the filmmakers that I've ever witnessed. And um, yeah, the just like the themes in this film, I just really found so thought provoking and so interesting. I mean, it goes into so many different things. It ties into so many different things. I mean, yeah, like Felix said, ultimately, this is a film that is about the the intrinsic values between originals and copies, and basically uses that as a foundation to explore the ideas of what's more valuable. Is it perspective that's more valuable, or is objective truth more valuable? Um, and it's basically subjectivity versus objectivity. That's kind of the whole premise of this film. And I think it dives into that and explores that beautifully throughout this film, whether it's between a character and narrative experiment that we get like halfway through this film that's very subversive and interesting. Um, and whether it's just between the ideas that is exchanged between these two characters that is just so compelling. And ultimately, yeah, though, I think that I love the way that this film explores the value of perspective and the value of um, truth. And I just loved the way it did that. And yeah, William Shamel, who's not even really an actor most of the time, he's like an opera
Hmm.
singer or something. he's
Right.
fucking great in this film. Like, it's hard to believe that he doesn't do acting like as a full-time thing, because he is really, really convincing here.
Yeah.
And of course, the goddess, Juliette Binoche, is so fucking great here. Just incredible actress who gives
Amazing.
an incredible performance, and just couldn't get enough of both of them. Honestly, they were both really, really great. And even like the cinematography is great. Like, most of it's like, kind of simple, but there's plenty of shots in this film that just really, really stick out to me. I think it's very, very beautiful.
It's very beautiful to look at.
Oh yeah.
The shots of
Um,
the architecture and like I said, like their conversations are just like, it's so alluring, the whole experience, as you said. And shout out to the guy, like to hold the opera singer to hold your own against Juliette Binoche is not a
Oh
easy
yeah.
feat, you know. And what a great world we live in, where she was able to work with Kiarostami before
hmm
he sadly passed away. Like one of my favorite actresses to ever be on
Same here.
screen.
Yep.
She's just the queen, man. I love her.
Same.
Certified Copy is a very special film to me because I think I discovered it like on my own pretty early in my like I guess movie watching days. I literally only watched it because I was like, oh, the actress from Cachet is so good. I want to see her like be in another leading role. And goddamn, I was like really surprised of how like great this was. I was hearing nobody talk about it, so I definitely pushed it onto Perry and eventually Carlos. I was like hesitant to push it on Carlos at first because wasn't sure if he would like it. But no, you guys pretty much touched on everything I wanted to say. It's in terms of like a screenplay and the dialogue and the characters, it is insanely compelling. It's
Yep.
beautiful and it's very thought provoking.
Absolutely. Again,
Yeah.
shout out to the Misfit Pond. I would never have found that movie if it
Thank
wasn't
you.
for all. I guess Blair, you're the real reason because you
Yeah.
recommended to Carlos the chain of recommendations there.
Yeah, and the chain went to me too.
That's
Yeah, because
crazy.
I recommended it to Felix. Yeah, and
Yeah.
Jack.
So
too.
amazing.
Love how
that's
that works.
the whole
Yeah.
chain
Yeah.
is here. That's crazy. Uh,
That analysis video that I did for Certified Copy, I'm so proud of that. Like,
it's a
usually,
great
like
video. Yeah, it's really good.
usually like when I do videos like that, there's always something where like I look at them like, I don't know if that was, I don't know if I feel that way anymore. I don't know if I should have said it this way. But with that one, like, I'm just very proud of that video. Like, I feel like everything that I said in that video, I still feel about it. And I wish it get more attention, but I just not really, there's something that you can really do about that. Certified Copy is just kind of like a obscure kind of film. So
Very
Mhm.
underseen film. Yeah, except for the Kino Lords, we'll discover it eventually.
oh yeah.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
Abbas Kiarostami, yeah, treasure to cinema. R.I.P.
Rip.
Great director. Like, just like one last thing about it is that I just think it's interesting that this Iranian director has just a different perspective on the world and cinema, like that we would never understand because of his like how he was brought up in his culture. So it infiltrates his own cinematic language, which is
Oh yeah,
Totally.
for sure.
yeah. So
Because you're saying, where's the friend's house? Is like, sorry to keep going, but like such a stereotypical story on the surface, but like the touch of his culture and like the glimpse into his life in that film, and just like makes that movie a masterpiece. And like from there on, it's like such a distinct, only Kiarostami, like when you see it, it sort of thing. So
Yes.
yeah, I echo what you say.
it definitely has that like Bressonian Vittoria De Sica.
Yeah, the
Also
neo-realist touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely Bresson. And speaking of Bresson, my number 3 pick
Thank you for
is
the transition.
my number 3 pick is 2017's Good Time by the Safdie
Ooh.
brothers.
Fucking amazing film.
And yeah, another film where the way that they use like time and space of like just following this one character, which it feels like, I know it's like from night to day, but it feels like you're kind of like with them the entire time throughout this journey. And I originally had this as number 4, but I switched it for Brawl and Cell Block 99 because I just thought like, oh no, Good Time. I think I like Good Time a little more because this movie is fucking awesome as well. and just what a refreshing like taste on just like cinema. Like seeing this was just like, I mean, I think I've only seen Uncut Gems and Good Time, but both those movies are so like great to watch in cinema. Like you're hooked the whole time. You're just like thinking about like what is this character gonna do? How's he gonna get out of this? They're just kind of like weaseling his way like through shit. I think I like Good Time a little bit more just because it's like a little bit more, I guess like condensed and compact and like just I don't know. It's like a perfect movie. I think you guys like, yeah. I mean, Robert Pattinson, fucking Benny Safdie. Uh, no,
Eddie Duress, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know who that is? His
he's
friend.
He's the guy
yeah.
who
the
gets
mangled
out of
face.
prison.
Yeah,
yeah. No,
so
honestly,
fucking good. Yeah.
When I saw this movie in theaters for the first time, especially when you get to the scene where it's like the flashback of how that guy got into where he's at into the hospital, like I was seriously getting like Pulp Fiction vibes from this movie, like seeing it in the cinema for the first time.
You lost me there, Felix. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, it was no, I love Good Time, and that's like it's my number 3 pick of the 2010s, and I think Jacob would agree with me as well. And
I think I will later on, sir.
Yeah. I personally really want to recommend you watch Daddy Longlegs. I literally love Daddy Longlegs pretty much like almost as much as I love Good Time. It is fucking brilliant.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's really great.
It's a wonderful movie.
I gotta see it.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, it's a great movie, but Good Time.
Yeah, it's an unpopular opinion, but I love the heart that Daddy Longlegs has.
Yeah.
It's very personal. Like they're just making a movie about their upbringing and like their dad. So I know what you mean. Like,
but it's so stressful too. It's really stressful.
Going even further, the star of that movie, what's his name? He co-writes the movie with Josh Safdie. The fuck's his name?
I forget his name.
He directed a movie called Frownland, that was recently released on Criterion. I think that movie's incredible. I highly recommend that movie to everyone. It's like very early Safdie brothers style, a little bit, very anxiety inducing. So, yeah, I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
Uncut Gems is
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems. I love that movie. That movie is. I think I definitely like that movie a little bit more than Good Time, but it's just for like personal reasons. Mostly just because I fucking love Adam Sandler to death.
Same here, dude. Yeah.
But also just because Uncut Gems was that was such a riveting, anxiety-inducing, and shocking experience that I haven't got with a film in such a long time.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is
too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking for sure, dude.
Me and Carlos, both of us, we love Uncut Gems to a crazy degree. I almost put it in my list.
Me too.
Yeah, it was so close.
Dude.
I was very close. Yeah, I was basically choosing between that and Good Time. It was like neck and neck.
It was basically between like Neon Demon, Mommy, and then Uncut Gems. That was like
Gems.
Yeah.
For me, it was the battle of the 2019. It was either between Portrait, Parasite, and Uncut Gems.
My favorite movie of that year is Uncut Gems. Of like the best. The year has like 6 or 7 masterpieces, and that's like my number 1 of that year.
That's awesome.
Hollywood, Hollywood. I don't know if Carlos and Blaire would agree, but that's the Tarantino movie I would have picked for this decade. But
it's a great movie.
I fucking love.
But I like Hateful Eight more personally.
Oh yeah. Hateful Eight's amazing.
I saw Uncut Gems like. I shit you not, like 7 times, 7 or 8 times in theaters.
Yeah,
I saw it twice.
That's based. Yeah.
I've seen it like 9 times in total.
There was something about. I mean, not only did I always want to watch it again, but I always wanted to be in a setting to where I could just experience the raw reaction from everybody in the theater of what happens in the third act of that movie.
It's a good point.
There's nothing else like that. So like every time I went to the theater, I'm like, I just want to go to the theater so I can experience everybody's reaction to that. And it never disappointed. But I still think the best reaction I got was when I went with Blaire and his mom. And her mom. That was
such a good experience. I remember it so clearly.
We went on Christmas Eve or Christmas itself. I forgot. But my God, that was a great theater experience. The crowd was very like, obviously they really like were digging what they were watching. They were very into it. And then like when that ending happened, it was like, boom, like everybody just gave their reaction. It was just something else. It was just really cool.
It's like once the credits, like it pans up to the stars and you could hear everyone just like release their anxiety. I was like, oh, like you get that visceral.
Finally over.
Yeah.
The theater reaction.
That was such a great time. Yeah. No pun intended.
I didn't mean to like pivot this conversation towards Uncut Gems, but
no, but they're interchangeable. Like they're just honestly, they're like kind of just the same as like they're just like just as good as one another.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to put Good Time up there because
I agree. I think they're like the same quality, and if in my opinion, like I could choose either, but yeah,
I do want to say Good Time in terms of in terms of like a pro that it has above
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems is that a Good Time makes me emotional. The ending of that film.
That's the thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It breaks me.
The end credits of that film, like Blair just said, breaks me every fucking time. I'm in tears every single time.
Cross the room. Yeah. The whole cross the room thing. It's like, stop.
I remember watching it with my ex. She's like, why are you crying so much? Like, she didn't understand why I was so emotional.
Oh,
credits. Like, oh.
Tears running down my face every time, man.
Breaks you in half, yeah.
Yeah, that's really. I saw it on my birthday when it came out in 2017. It came out like
that's
on my
awesome.
Birthday. Yeah, and I also with my ex-girlfriend as well. So
that was also a movie. I'm gonna talk about it later, but that was a movie I just immediately wanted just to take people to the theater to see it and just have that same visceral experience I had. It was like infectiously, I just loved that movie, you know, like I wanted everyone else to know about it and just spread the good word of the Safdies, basically.
Yeah, well, I think that movie, Good Time, it took some time for people to catch on, whereas Uncut Gems, when that came out, it was like a hit and people like fucked with it. But Good Time, like people are realizing it's a masterpiece like later
almost
on.
like a cult hit in a way, yeah, because people would like, oh, I found it on streaming or something like that, yeah.
And honestly, it's really thanks to Adam Sandler too. Like he has such insane star power.
Yeah.
And like a bunch of people just went to go watch it just because of Adam Sandler. They had no idea what the fuck they were in for.
They did not. Yeah. I remember half my crowd was just like, you could tell they were like, what is happening? I did not expect.
I mean, just the opening sequence, like with like it transitioning from the opal to like Adam Sandler's colon was just
colonoscopy,
like
baby.
Oh, you could just tell the audience was like, oh, okay.
Ooh.
What the fuck? Okay.
I bet it was the same thing for Robert Pattinson. I bet a lot of people had eyes on Good Time strictly for Robert Pattinson.
Sure, yeah, that's true.
By the way, quick thing on fucking Good. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like when I saw that, I didn't. That was the first time where I was like, Robert Pattinson's like an incredible actor. Yep. I was going to the movie because like, oh, it's A24. It looks like a cool artsy movie, and it's like, holy shit, he's like the best, one of the best actors of our generation now, in my opinion. Yeah. Go ahead, Carlos. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say kind of something similar that. Blair and I were just wanting to look for something to watch in theaters because we were both working at the same place at the time. And I looked it up and I saw a film called Good Time playing. And all I knew is that it was from A24 and it had great reviews and Robert Pattinson was starring in it. And it had like, again, really great reviews. And I'm like, hey, do you want to go watch this after work? And Blair was like, yeah. I was like, all right. So we went to go see it at a local AMC and literally empty ass theater, nobody in there at all. Just Blair and I in an empty theater watching Good Time, and we both just like had like one of the most amazing theatrical experiences we ever had.
It's such a surprise. I knew nothing about it.
Yeah,
and
same here.
Yeah.
It's so grimy too. It's like so like realistic,
so grimy,
like handheld, grimy. Like everyone's a piece of shit. Like Robert Pattinson's a piece of shit.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that though.
I love it.
Like I said before, like when no one's good, but
no one's
good. The Sprite scene with Barkhad Abdi. I remember like the friends I saw it with, like just visceral, like just clenching.
Like, oh my god!
Yeah, exactly. No,
in the theater. Yeah,
because it's like one of the most like fucked up things I've ever seen on screen up to that point. Just pouring, God knows, acid, so much acid down his gullet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop talking about Good Time because I I have it on my list, guys. If you didn't already know.
Oh, really?
It's later.
I knew. Yeah,
I'm wasting all my thoughts. I just don't want to okay.
Yeah.
But I
Well, I
love that
think
we're talking about the Safdies right now, though.
Yeah, I think we could say Good Times / Uncut Gems for this one.
Yeah.
You know,
basically.
if you want.
What if it could just make the top 10? You never know.
Yeah.
Both of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
But, anyway, that's my number 3.
Did you have
guys.
more? Did you? Okay.
No, that's my number 3. Yeah. Go ahead, Blair.
All right. So my number 3 is a movie that I knew it was gonna make my list, but I was like, it's not very fresh, so I have to rewatch it. So today I rewatched Asghar Farhadi's A Separation. I think this movie is very overlooked because to me it's hands down one of the best of the decade. It's in terms of like screenplay, for me it's like one of the best screenplays I've seen like in any movie, period, which is that's I know it's saying probably a lot. But this movie is insanely stressful. Like we're talking about Safdies, and this movie like also just completely like stresses me the fuck out. It's such a nightmare. Like I don't know, when you're first like find out what a separation is, like discover the movie, you really have no idea what like you're in for, because like this movie just turns into like such a nightmare situation. Like all the characters, all the acting is fucking brilliant. Like everyone feels so genuine, and like really real and raw. Like I don't know what it is about Iranian cinema. They just are masters at that. But yeah, if you guys haven't seen A Separation, I'd highly recommend it because like I said, it fleshes out like what these characters are going through super well. It takes a little bit to get going, but to me in a good way. Like it kind of like sets you up in a comforting, well, maybe not comforting, but like in this sense of like lull, and but then it just completely like gets really unique in its situation. I don't know. I'd highly recommend it.
I haven't seen it, so
Me neither, sadly.
Oh,
Yeah.
fuck.
Damn.
I know.
We have to watch that, Jake.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
down.
Please do, please.
It seems like something I would love, and I love Iranian films, so I'm very sold by what you said. So I'm down.
Yeah, just for y'all's information, I 100% agree with Blair. That film is a masterpiece. Separation is. I mean, I second everything that Blair said. It's super authentic. You buy everything that's going on in the film, and it's just such a fucking like complex film filled with a number of different conflicts. It even dives into classism as well, and the struggles that honestly both classes have to deal with, and the situations that they're in, the unfortunate circumstances that the lower class is in that forces them to do morally questionable things in order to make ends meet and survive. And it's just a brilliantly acted and brilliantly directed film. Really great screenplay. The ending is fucking incredible.
Oh, the ending so good. Yeah.
The ending is it's an ambiguous and powerful ending that I just really, really love. I'd only seen it once. I saw it one time back when the Discord was like first a thing, and I still remember like a lot about it. But I do need to watch it again.
There's sorry, Carlos, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I'm done basically.
There's one thing I want to say that really hit me while watching the movie. The main character of this movie, this is the best like representation of this kind of character that I've seen since Cachet. Like the main character in this movie has like a crazy amount in common of Cachet. Like it's so subtle, but it hits a lot of like the same beats, like in a good, unique way. They're very, very different films. But even like the ending to Cachet reminds me of the ending to A Separation. Like I brilliantly written characters. Like every character, you understand their motivation and
Yeah.
where they're coming from super, super well. Like the movie just makes it so followable and without like holding your hand, of course. It's just really well written and well
Yeah.
acted.
Yeah, like each character in this film has their own internal struggle and conflict that you completely understand. And it makes it like so much more compelling because they all come from different perspectives, like they all have a different worldview about how they should go about certain things, but yet they're all kind of reasonable in a way, like you can understand where they're all coming from. And it
Mhm.
makes it to where it's much more compelling because you don't just have this one-dimensional thing where you're just rooting for this one person or you're against this one person. It just makes it to where you're there and you're just along for the ride, just experiencing these complex situations between these characters. Experienced in this level of authenticity that just makes it so engaging.
Yeah, it's really hard to root for anyone in the movie besides like the people who are like complete victims of the circumstances, like the main characters like Child and
Yeah.
the old man. That's really the only people who are like completely like blameless in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen the cover of it. Like I've heard of this movie and I've seen the
Me
cover
too.
with the guy and the girl too.
Yeah,
Like
just
I actually
yeah.
I've seen that before, but now I'm definitely intrigued for sure. Like
Me too.
I'll have to check it out.
This was
Please
like
watch it.
it was a film I've wanted to see for a long time. Like I remember back when I started loving films, it'd be on like every list or of like best films of like the past 20 years or whatever, like or Cinefix or whatever I was watching at the time as a
Yeah.
teenager. Like I'd always see it brought up in certain respects. So I definitely it's long overdue. Um, so yeah,
Can't wait to hear your thoughts on it.
yeah,
Y'all's thoughts on it.
For sure.
I'll rectify that.
For sure.
Carlos, you are next, right?
I believe so.
Go for it.
Carlos.
All right. So my my next pick is from a filmmaker that I don't think a lot of people have really heard of. He's pretty underrated. But it's a film that, in my opinion, is more underrated within his filmography, and it's Denis Villeneuve's Arrival.
Nice.
An underrated film by an underrated director that no one's heard of.
To be honest, he doesn't get enough shine these days, so I'm glad you brought him up.
That's underground, bro.
Yeah,
Damn.
man, very obscure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a film that, like, I'm sorry, I just think it's like it's basically one of the most like perfect artsy and ambitious films that I've seen, because this is a film that's like it's pretty big budget, all things considered. Um, and it's basically was marketed, to a wide audience, and it's accessible to a wide audience, but yet it's so incredibly artful and meaningful and cerebral. Um, it's a film that, like, I remember I showed this film to a few close friends of mine, and they're both like, extremely casual when it comes to like what they've been exposed to when it comes to film. They can't really name you off any director, any like ever. They just don't watch movies often. But one of these days we hung out, and I was like, hey, I think I have a film that I'd like to show y'all that you guys might like. I showed them Arrival, and they were fucking blown away. They loved it, and they understood it. Like they really did understood. Like they understood these kind of mind-bending types of concepts that have to do with the intertwinement of time and language and emotions and extraterrestrial life and everything. Like all of that really resonated with them, and it resonates with me. It's just a really, really well-crafted, artistically ambitious film that I feel like is able to resonate with anyone. It resonates with anyone emotionally and cerebrally. Like it's just a film that is incredibly smart. It's a film that's also very sci-fi with where it's going with how we understand language and time, and how time can be in a weird way affected by language. I just think that concept is so interesting and so philosophical, especially in the way that this film explores it. And also how it kind of intertwines trauma with time as well. Like, it's just such a fucking really great film how it intertwines all these really interesting and philosophical themes about the reality that we live in. I mean, yeah, on the surface, this is just like an extraterrestrial, almost like invasion type film, but really, like, it's so much deeper than that. And the score too, from Max Richter, I think is his name, is so fucking great. And the opening scene to this film just yanks tears out of me every single time. It's almost like the Up effect, where like the first 5 minutes are just fucking devastating. But like, just sets the tone incredibly well and kind of gets the audience like, you know, on board with what's going to happen next throughout this entire film. And it's just, film's just an adventure. It's an emotional, intellectual adventure that I just love so dearly. Just overall, like, Villeneuve is a filmmaker that knows how to craft something in a very subtle, powerful, but yet accessible way that I admire on such a deep level. So yeah, that's why Arrival's my number 3.
Hell yeah,
Great,
dude.
great pick, man.
I saw that twice in theaters as well when it came out. That definitely, I remember when I first saw it, made a huge impression of me. I actually went on my Facebook and I made a post and it was like, Arrival is a film people should see. And then I rewatched it again with like my mom and my brother. And no, that movie, it might be my favorite Denis Villeneuve movie. And yeah, I think probably my favorite movie of 2016 too. That definitely had an impression on me, and the whole like time shit they do at the end, where it's like the beginning is the end. That shit like,
oh yeah,
got me fucked up, dude. That got yeah. And no, it's a great picture for sure.
It is a great picture.
I also love how like the fucking like, again, it's such a fucking like subversive movie in terms of not only the story, but how we think about time itself. Like, throughout this movie, we think of, like, when we get scenes of with the main character with her daughter, we think of that like immediately in our heads as a flashback, right? I know this is gonna get into spoiler territory, but whatever.
We should spoil it because it's such a vital like plot point.
Fuck it.
Do
like
it. Fuck him.
Yeah, fuck him. Like, when we like, I just think it's so interesting how like naturally we think of these things as flashbacks, but as the film progresses in the end, we learn that these were actually kind of like flash forwards in time. So like all these things that happened with her and her daughter, we think like throughout the entire film, we're thinking, oh, this already happened to her.
She's getting over a loss, right?
Yeah, we think of her getting over a loss, but she's actually just getting these flashes of the future that she doesn't yet understand, and it's affecting her in a different kind of way that we're kind of perceiving. So like by the end of the film, it just like flips everything on its head in a way that gets us to understand things in a different light and through a different perspective. Not only how we think of time differently, but how also language kind of shapes the way that we think about things as well. So fuck yeah, dude. Arrival is such a great fucking movie.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's hard.
I would vote that top 10.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
I probably will too. I mean that. That's my favorite Denis Villeneuve movie.
Oh wow!
Also.
Oh yes,
I'm surprised.
Same here.
Yeah, I think that's the one. Like it is.
I think that's
the one.
Well, the way Carlos is talking about it, I just agree so much. It's just such a brilliant time, the way it constructs time and how it comments on like linguistics and how we communicate. And it kind of related to like how the world needs to better communicate with each other at such a pivotal time.
Yeah.
Like it felt like a really timely movie. And for me, at least at the time, and I was like, holy shit. Like I was thinking about it for days. I saw it again. And as you said, like, it's like an art house blockbuster that's accessible to anyone. Like I've showed that movie to so many people and they're like mind blown or they have different takes on it. Like it's so accessible. And for some, more pretentious film lovers, maybe they're like, nah, it's a very mainstream take on the subject. But I think what you said is great, like how it reaches such a broad audience. And I think that's Villeneuve's best film.
Thank
if
you.
ask me.
Because I asked, like, I remember there was a point in time where I asked everybody in the Discord to give me like their ranked Villeneuve, takes. And like Arrival was like on the bottom of almost everybody's list.
Wow.
I was like,
what the hell? I would not suspect that. That's weird.
Because they're like Roger Deakins.
Yeah. Blade Runner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a Arrival denier per se. I like it a lot. But I definitely prefer like Incendie and Prisoners.
Prisoners is amazing too. I will definitely agree there. Yeah, that's a masterpiece.
Yeah, Sicario and Arrival.
Sicario is great too.
Yeah.
Wait, Incendies was before. That's like his French language film, right? I haven't seen it, but
man,
people say it's
so good,
amazing. Yeah,
it is definitely like, I think it's the movie that came right before Sicario, if I'm not mistaken. Or no,
Prisoners.
I don't know. Yeah, Prisoners. Sorry, I forgot.
Incendies to me is his darkest movie.
But it's brilliant. That's my fucking favorite by far. I love it.
What about, have you guys seen Paul Technic?
I haven't seen it yet.
I like that movie a lot. I know that's kind of a.
I like that movie too.
Apparently, it's like a hot. Again, in the Discord, I feel like it's just weird. Like I feel at home a little bit. Like I feel very like comforted with you guys when it comes to Villeneuve.
Yeah.
Because like in the Discord, I just have very different takes when it comes to him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think probably Technique is a great movie. And again,
I like that movie too.
And Sandy, I do agree with Blair though. That is a film that's a must-watch film. It is very good. That's like, I think that's most people's like top 2 or top 3 in the Discord. And honestly, I think it's warranted because it is really great.
I got to see it. I haven't seen it.
What fuck. I was gonna say. I was just gonna say I need to really rewatch Arrival because I saw it once in theaters, so it's been quite a while.
Mm-hmm. That was another year with just so many great movies, the 2016. So it might have gotten like forgotten, it lost in the shuffle a little bit, but I fucking love it too. Johan Johansson did the score for that movie, R.I.P. He did Prisoner, Sicario, Mandy. Just what a talent, man, and R.I.P.
I also really love Amy Adams personally. I think she's great.
Oh, yeah.
That's like the best performance I've seen.
Oh yeah, easily.
She's insanely good in that. Yeah.
That and Nocturnal Animals, which I believe came out the same year.
Yeah,
dude, she had a good year that year. Yeah.
And Batman versus Superman too, guys.
That was her year.
Felix made us watch the ultimate cut recently, BVS.
Yeah. Oh, the Zack Snyder cut. Right.
Yeah. It was kind of a chore, I won't lie, but it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
So that's my number 3. No. BVS. Alrighty. I will go next. I'm making an audible, guys. I'm making an audible because I originally had Under the Skin, but I realized we need more films in here. There's too many movies, and the way Carlos summed it up, I feel like I have nothing left to add to that bracket. But Under the Skin's a masterpiece. I will vote for it in the
must-see masterpiece.
Yeah, but I'm switching to a 2019 film, and
Parasite.
No, it's not. I love Parasite, but my second favorite movie of 2019 after Uncut Gems was actually Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Let's fucking go. Nice.
I just feel like I had to throw this in the mix because this is such a masterpiece film. If we're talking about the decade, like, I feel like queer cinema became more mainstream, with Moonlight obviously was a big breakout, but also Call Me by Your Name and Portrait of a Lady on Fire, just so fucking elegant and artful and quiet. It really hits all the marks for what I love in art house film. Just very subtle, some of the best cinematography of the decade, in my opinion, for at least for what I like to see on screen, because it's very pastel-y. very understated. Very reminds you kind of like of Renaissance paintings and stuff. And yeah, just the repression that you feel between these two women is just fucking crazy and riveting the whole way. I'll never forget seeing this in theaters with all the hype built around it and just having such an emotional, cathartic experience. And yeah, I mean, everyone talks this movie up, so I don't want to be a broken record, but like this to me was a defining film of 2019, and I think introduced a lot of other younger people into like more art house films, romance films that are a little off kilter and artsy. Celine Sciamma is obviously a major talent in modern cinema, in my opinion. Petite Maman is also really great. But Portrait of a Lady on Fire is just a masterpiece, in my opinion. I don't know what else to say beyond that. I hope you guys would agree with me there.
1,000%
Absolutely.
agree.
Great.
Yeah, Portrait it's crazy because I've only seen the movie one time when it came out.
Damn.
Yeah, it's made such a long-lasting impression on me. I remember so much about that movie, but especially like the ending to that movie. I remember like once it ended and I got the last like 20 seconds of that movie, I was like, wow, this is such a powerfully emotional piece of filmmaking. I loved it.
It's
Nice.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought. Damn it! I did that to myself.
It's all good.
Yeah. So I saw this movie and I think I was like in a really bad mood when I watched it. I think I was like going through some shit, so I don't
It's fair,
have
dude.
like a real like emotional recollection to it, but like people love this movie, and just like parts that I stuck out to me definitely were like the parts where like they're in the bathtub and they're like tripping or something like
Yeah.
that on the thing, and they like kiss and it's like the fucking saliva.
Yeah, so
I think-
erotic.
Definitely like what I appreciate from it though is not like, yeah, it's like I guess it's a homosexual like lesbian picture, but it doesn't like, glorify that, in a way. It makes it more like personable, I
Yeah.
guess, because I get it's directed by a woman as well too, so it's
Yes.
yeah, but it was cool. Like I'm not as big on it as other people. I think when I did see it, I think I was like going through some shit. So like we all do, and
Yeah.
that can affect the way you watch a movie, I would say. But
That's fair, man. I get it. I mean,
Yeah.
just the shot of them like on the cliff and the camera it sort of racks focus between them two as they like look at each other and they look back, and the shot I'm talking about where
Yeah,
they're
I
kind
do.
of like gazing at it. Like there's moments like that of just like longing. I love that in films, and like captured just beautifully by both the actors but also the director and everything. It all works so harmoniously to just, I think, one of the most riveting love stories. I would even say up there with In the Mood for Love of all
Yeah.
time.
Me too.
I don't know if that's a hot take or whatever,
No,
but
No,
I think
actually
it's up
agree.
there.
I agree.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire has two insane powerhouse performances, and
Oh my
also
God.
like to me, it's definitely one of the best shot films of the decade. It's fucking gorgeous. Like it kind of has that Barry Lyndon quality where like every fucking shot is a painting. It's that
does.
beautiful, and the sound design is also really great. Yeah, to me, this movie like fires on all cylinders. And yeah, this is like a rare case of like the insane amount of hype that was built to this movie. Like lived up.
So much. Because like again, 2019 was stacked, but like this was the movie that I was looking forward to, because out of the festivals, everyone was like, all the critics were like, this is a masterpiece, like a must see. And it did. I think it lived up on every facet. So we're back. We're at our top two slots. It's about to get spicy, and Felix is
man.
gonna strip a little of that sauce on us with your number two.
All right. So my number 2 pick is 2012's Django Unchained, written and directed
Yes.
by the one and only Quentin Tarantino, baby. Fuck yeah. Django Unchained.
Dude, let's fucking go.
Christoph Waltz.
Yes.
That brings back a
Jamie
lot of
Foxx.
memories. That Steelbook. I used to have
Fucking-
that.
Leonardo DiCaprio. Come on, guys. let's just give it up right now, dude. Django Unchained fucking kicks ass. Uh, Bro, when I first saw it, this is the greatest theater experience of my entire life. I would say seeing this for the first time when I was 16 was with my stepdad, and then my friend Jack, who's my partner on the Medium Cool show, and then a couple other guys. And this movie just completely blew me away. It was like the first time I kind of realized what a director was. I think too, just like it felt so personalized, and I think like my brain had gone to a certain point of like development where I could recognize like the artistic hand in a picture. And I just want to say like this movie opened up the doors for cinema for me. Like after this, I was like really studying. I like watched all of Tarantino's movies, all of his interviews, and then from his interviews, I would see movies he would also recommend, and it was just like a rabbit hole. And I know that Tarantino is kind of like the first like director you like someone gets into, you know, as like a cinephile. Like he's up there like on the iceberg of directors. But yeah, I mean Django Unchained, it's just really good movie, like great story. Fucking this idea of like a slave that becomes like the hero, and like the arc of Jamie Foxx's character. And then we have another fucking great performance from Christoph Waltz, like coming off of Inglourious Bastards. He does it again in this movie. I don't know which one, like which performance you guys like more.
Bastards, probably.
Yeah, yeah, they're tight. It might be Bastards, but I mean Christoph Waltz, like one of my all-time favorites. Just like this mission they go on, and all the homage to the Italian westerns, and just like the brutality of it, and the violence, and the way that he combines sort of like the cathartic violence with the, you know, the real actual violence of the day, and like the slavery of the day. And Tarantino is like one of the guys who can really like has the balls to like walk that line and sort of make this crazy action movie that takes place in like the antebellum South. And yeah, no, it just like blew me away. And like the moment where I don't care about spoilers because it's Django, like you should have seen it already.
It's fine.
But,
Yeah, don't worry about it.
but basically the scene where Christoph Waltz fucking is like shoots DiCaprio in
Hell
the
yes.
thing. I
Couldn't
was
resist.
like that, like totally. And then the whole action scene after that, I think at that point I'm like, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen.
Dude,
Yes.
when the
and-
Tupac song came on, and
Yeah.
when I was 16, I lost my shit. I was like, no way.
Yeah, and then the fact that Tarantino is in his own movie, and then he like blows himself up, and that shot of fucking Jamie Foxx and the smoke, and
He's
I was like,
Australian, yeah, the Australian racist.
it's definitely one of those movies where I thought like to myself, yeah, he's Australian.
Shut up, Black.
Shut up, Black.
Shut up,
Yeah.
Black. You got nothing to say I want to hear.
Tarantino being racist on screen, you never see that.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah,
Love
but
it.
I just thought like I never knew like you could do something like that in a movie, like a movie you can make, put yourself in it, like kill yourself, and it was just like you know, it shattered my reality of cinema, guys. I don't know what to tell you at that point in time. So there was a stretch there where I thought like this is my favorite movie ever. There's definitely like other pictures that now over time I've like surpassed it, which I'm going to talk about in my number one pick. But yeah, Django Unchained, guys, like it's fucking awesome.
It's
like,
a
I recommend
movie.
yeah, it's a definitely, it's badass, great action, great dialogue, great story, characters. Yeah, it's just like a personal like Tarantino favorite of mine because I think it really opened the doors for me. For yeah, like,
Nice.
I had known who Quentin Tarantino was, and I think I was too young when I saw Inglourious Bastards, and I think it went over my head.
Me too.
But now it's like it's a fucking masterpiece. Pulp Fiction I also saw before Django, but I think I was too young and I didn't get the hype for it. And then when I saw Django, I went back and rewatched Pulp Fiction and all those movies, and I'm like, holy fuck, that actually is a great movie. So it's an important movie to me. It's a very personal movie to me. You know, is it the greatest movie ever? Like perhaps not, but
Yes. No, I'm kidding.
but it is like on my number two spot just because of how personal, like what it means to me. And
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
We have a very similar arc of getting into movies where that was like one of them where that kind of led down the road, like you said, for Tarantino and older films like that. It was a very similar experience I had because we're the same age and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I will say, like, now that's definitely not my favorite Tarantino movie over time, just because as I gotten older, my taste has developed and other things just kind of popped up, and I still think it's a very good film. And I understand why it's someone's favorite, but I can also understand why people like really don't fuck with it. But
I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't understand why people don't fuck with it.
Yeah,
No.
it's my least favorite Tarantino,
No,
honestly.
Carlos says he doesn't understand why people don't fuck with it.
Yeah. Well, like Blair is like saying that it's least.
I mean, like if you,
I get it.
If it's not your favorite Tarantino, it's fine. But like if you just say like if you just tell me it's meh, I'm like, oh, fuck off.
No, I think it's great. I mean,
yeah.
DiCaprio is next level in it too. I think that's like one of my favorite DiCaprio performances, and like just the visuals. It's like what Tarantino's visual style really took off, in my opinion, and like the epic Western landscape shots and the zooms that he does to comedic effect and like really great stuff. The monologue with DiCaprio when he breaks his hand is like all-timer Tarantino sequence too. Like
I was gonna say when Felix brought up like the shot to Leo's like heart thing going on. That's a great fucking scene, and the action sequence after that's great. But like the build up, the entire sequence that builds up to that to me is probably my favorite scene of the entire film.
Me too.
Where like Leonardo DiCaprio finds out through like Samuel L. Jackson's character that they're just fucking like weaseling, and they're just there to like fucking like stroke his ego in order to get Jamie Foxx's wife back. Like that whole sequence, my God, is so fucking intense, so suspenseful, so brilliantly acted, just so fucking wonderful. Well, that to me is that cinema, like that entire thing is just like so fucking great.
Yeah, and Robert Richardson's photography is amazing too.
Amazing.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I'm curious for Blair though, like why that's not to put you on blast already. I'm just curious, like why that's your least favorite of his filmography.
Just to put it simply, like I think the movie starts off like really strong, but once it reaches a certain point, I feel like it really does like start to meander and lose me quite a bit. It's not by any means a bad movie at all. It's just that literally every other Tarantino film I find a lot more enjoyment. It's like tighter on the runtime, and it's I don't know.
I understand that because it is long and sweaty, and there's a lot of scenes that you could arguably cut because it's very self-indulgent at points, but that's also Tarantino, so I get it.
Yeah, I'm fine with self-indulgence. Honestly.
That's the thing. Yeah. There's nothing bad. I would just say I get it. Why? Yeah.
I do understand why people say like it's 20 minutes too long or whatever.
Yeah,
but
it is long.
To me, long. But like literally, other than that, its film's fucking amazing. Like that to me is like really the only thing that I understand. Everything else, I think is like, everything else besides that, I think this film is masterful as hell, and it's super entertaining.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about the length. So I think this is like when Django came out, it was his longest movie ever. And this is his first movie that he did with Fred Raskin, his editor, Fred Raskin, because everything before that was Sally Menke.
Right. Yeah.
And I think Sally Menke had more of a grip on Tarantino because she started with him when he was just like a small, like his first movie. So she had like more of a say in like cutting things down. I think she had like a tighter editing compared to like Fred Raskin, who was coming in, and Tarantino's already an established master. And he's like, Tarantino's like probably like fucking, talking over you and like telling you how he's like so intense that like it's hard to say no to him. I think at that point, I think that's what's going on with Fred Raskin's movies, because this Django Unchained, The Hateful Eight, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood are all his longest movies after his since like R.I.P. Sally Menke. But I think she had like a tighter grip on like her opinions really mattered, and she kind of could stand up to Tarantino. You know what I mean?
She probably challenged his. I agree totally. She challenged probably his ideals and stuff. Like Thelma Shoemaker with Scorsese is a similar thing where she probably puts hold on his big ideas, and sometimes maybe he's overly ambitious sequences, stuff like that. And Tarantino, like you're right, because like all of his movies post Django are long as shit. And like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I think there was a cut originally that was like 5 hours or something
Yeah.
before, and I was like, yeah. But again, like we don't have directors doing that, so I don't think it's an issue. I think it's just interesting to
Mhm.
look
Just like
back
an
on.
interesting point I wanted to make about the length. But yeah, I
Yeah,
can
it's really
people
cool. Yeah.
think it's like really long. But anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts on Django Unchained. My number two pick for the greatest
The
films of the
Django Unchained.
2010s. So
The
It
Django.
def it definitely took me on a trip down memory lane, just thinking about,
yeah.
seeing that for the first time and all that shit.
Mhm.
But Blair, you're number two.
So yeah, my number one and two were super duper easy because they've always just been my absolute undisputed favorites of the decade. So my number two, happy to announce I'll represent Park Chan Wook again because I'm going to go with The Handmaiden
Let's
2016.
go.
Damn,
Yeah,
damn. Over
this
Parasite.
yeah, it's tough because Parasite is fucking phenomenal, but I don't know. The Handmaiden, I arguably like it better than Old Boy as well. Like it's
I do
Agreed.
too.
I agree with you.
brilliant,
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant on literally every phase of filmmaking, in my opinion. It's funny because like this is another like obviously lesbian story, but it's so different from Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Like if you look at like their plot synopsis, they would seem a little similar because they're not like allowed essentially to like be together, but that obviously doesn't like stop them. But they're like The Handmaiden just goes through so many like twists and turns. Obviously I'm not going to give away like what happens, but there's something that happens in the middle of the film that just completely recontextualizes the whole movie. That's like
Yep.
done in a way to where like people who don't like that story beat, like you can't help but like admit like that was like really well done. um I haven't seen much from like the two lead actresses in the film, but they both give like insanely great powerhouse performances. And on top of that, I just love like the style of like traditional the Japanese themes, and like how um sorry, I'm just kind of like all over the place.
No,
No,
you're good.
it's a great like erotic thriller film. It To me it's like the best film to come out of like that subgenre.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, obviously the cinematography is fucking completely breathtaking. There's so many memorable shots in this movie. My favorite probably being like the shot of the tree, and
Yeah.
like not to give it away, but like the girl trying to like hang herself. Like it's very like darkly comedic. And obviously like the elephant of the room is like how much fucking explicit sex scenes there are. But like it's way more like purposeful than say something like Blue is the Warmest Color. Like
Exactly. Yeah.
it's so purposeful in the film and it's very very explicit, but yeah, it's
Personally, I feel like it's there to show like in detail the actual level of connection they actually have. Like to me, it like really like
Yeah.
intensifies their dynamic in a way that we wouldn't have gotten if those scenes weren't there.
right. You get like legitimately pieces of their character through those scenes and how they like almost
Mhm.
interact with each other, and almost like the exploration of like their power dynamic. It's really interesting.
It is.
Yeah, the way
I
that they tell
Go ahead, Felix.
the way that they tell the story too, like this whole shifting perspective as like sort of Rashomon thing they do
Yeah.
is I love that when like cinema really does like a sort of like a time, space, and memory aspect of just switching perspectives that only like really cinema can like do and like
Mhm.
as an
Oh,
art
yeah.
form, like storytelling wise, you know?
Totally. Yeah, I was gonna say like this was originally in my top five as well. We talked it over, and I just gave it to Blair. But
I appreciate that.
of course, no, of course, and you had a great take on it too, because I agree. Like I also prefer it to Old Boy, which may be a hot take, and even just re-release of Old Boy came out, I fucking love that movie so much.
Me too.
I think Park Chan-wook's like one of our greatest craftsmen in cinema, in modern day cinema, in my opinion. Just like his editing style, the way he shoots things, his darkly comedic tone that he harnesses in all of his films. Like, it's just, all of his movies are so satisfying to watch as as an aspiring filmmaker myself, because it's like he just does his own thing, and like all of his movies are so rich in every aspect. And like The Handmaiden to me is like, he loves twisty storytelling and sort of like these subversions of like character dynamics and stuff. And The Handmaiden has all of that, like on top of like being an erotic thriller, really compelling sort of character shifts and stuff like that. And yeah, like that's such a fucking good movie, man. I just love it so much. And yeah, the director Park, one of the goats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one of my absolute
yeah.
favorites.
I like him more than Bong Joon-ho.
I have such a hard time with that one, but
Me
Same.
too.
I mean, I don't think similar to what Blair said. I think The Handmaiden is my favorite, like of all those films. But
Yeah, I think I agree.
I think I like Bong Joon-ho a little bit more, but they're both phenomenal.
I mean, like
Yeah.
Parasite, Mother, Memories of Murder.
Yeah, that's
you know,
why. Because I think Mother is a 10 out of 10 for me. Memories of
Mother
Murder
is
is a
a-
10 out of 10 for me. Parasite's a very strong 9, so it's like,
mm,
you know.
I
Yeah,
like
dude.
what's the one? Ouija? What? Okja.
Okja.
Okja's great. He directed Ouija.
by Bong Joon-ho. I want to see that.
I like Okja. I liked it a lot.
Yeah,
Okja's
me
really-
too.
Okja's-
Same here.
Okja's-
I love Okja.
It's great.
And
Okja's-
Snowpiercer's
The
good.
Producer's good too.
Yeah, it's a decent movie.
You know, originally, this is a like a sidebar, but originally when we did our best of the decade list like years ago, I had Snowpiercer in my top 10, and like I don't know what the fuck I was like. I
Holy
love
hell.
that movie a lot, but I was like Bong Joon-ho, and I was like, I just didn't want to pick I was like
Yeah.
embarrassing for sure. But, I still love Snowpiercer. I think it's a fun ass movie, but
Yeah.
I don't know
was-
if Park Chan-wook. I'd say Park Chan-wook mainly because nothing compares to Old Boy or The Handmaiden or even like
Joint Security Area. I fucking love Joint
JSA
Security Area,
or
bro.
That-
Lady Vendor. Yeah,
I really need to watch that one.
Oh my god, Joint
JSA
Security
is
Area.
a masterpiece in my opinion. Yeah,
Yeah.
I adore Thirst, and also I love Decision to Leave. I think Decision to Leave is fucking
too.
awesome. It's
I know
great.
that's a very hot button issue in the Discord, but
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite films of last year, mainly because I love Park so much. And I saw it like twice, but it's a very complicated movie for a lot of people, so I get it. I agree though, Blair. I love it.
Awesome.
Yeah, definitely Old Boy, Joint Security Area, Handmaiden. They're definitely probably my top 3 for the
Yeah.
Park Chan-wook movies. Yeah,
Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance, Lady
Oh, yeah.
Vengeance.
so
Love
good.
those movies.
So good. Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, just the way he tells his stories is just so unique,
They are.
and they're so modern and fresh. Like, yeah.
Digital photography and the
Yeah.
new one. Yeah. We're back after a little technical issue, but Carlos is up with his number 2 film of the decade.
All right. So my number 2 is a film that I do own, but I can't show it off because I let my friend Velvet borrow it like I want to say 5 or 6 years ago. And
Oh
she
shit!
never gave it back. Nor
Oh,
do
man.
I think she ever watched it, but that's okay.
Oh,
I forgive her. But either way, this is a film that is very near and dear to my heart. It really, really means a lot to me. And the film that I'm talking about is David Lowery's A Ghost Story.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, this is a film that just like it came into existence and presented itself to me at just a crucial moment in my life. The timing was just so, it has a huge part as to why I love this movie. I mean, regardless, I would love this movie whatever time it came out in. But the fact that it came out around this time, I mean, around the time that it did, um, made it to where it just impacted me much more emotionally. Um, because and that same year, I had lost somebody that was really close to me. Basically, I lost somebody that was going to be like my partner in crime with this channel, like with my channel. Um, like the whole shtick of this channel was supposed to be like he does like gaming content and I do the film stuff, and that's why we called it the Misfit Pond. Was that was like the whole deal. But tragically, he lost a battle to depression, and things just unfortunately unraveled the way it did. And when A Ghost Story came out, it just hit me to my absolute core. Just the way that this film was presented, just really.
Oh no.
Oh fuck.
Fuck.
Damn. What a time too. That
I know
sucks.
that was
Yeah,
gonna be
Ghost Story.
Wait,
Ghost Story is great.
Ghost
Just
Story is
wanna say.
amazing. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it.
No, I was gonna say like that movie made me cry too. Like honestly, like that's the last
Oh
movie I
yeah.
remember that made
I
me
will.
cry.
Oh damn, I cried at
I mean, that
everything.
That
Yeah,
movie wrecked me. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Though it's such a good pick though for 2010s. I would vote for that.
Oh,
oh,
he's
okay.
back.
You're
Are we
back.
are we back?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
back. You're back.
Okay. What
Keep
what
going.
what 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 did I leave off at?
You said Ghost Story, man, and then you were about to say something about it.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you were talking about your friend you were starting the channel with.
Oh, okay. Then I think I started talking about like time or something.
Yeah.
I'll just say like in terms of the way that this film presents time, like it really makes you appreciate the time that you have, and it makes you take time and the experiences you have in life less for granted. I mean, as human beings, it's like almost impossible to not take things for granted because we just have to live life, our own way. We had no choice. But in a way, like the way that this film has such a slow style to it, which I know is like unbearable for a lot of people. Um, to me, that slow style is so purposeful and meaningful because it really does make you understand how long like 1 second is and how long a minute is. And
Right.
to me, like again, with ultimately one of the main themes of this film being how limited time is and how much little time we do have on this earth. I think the way that this film is paced is absolutely perfect for what it's trying to express. And it's just such a fucking like existential and emotional experience. And it's because of that. It's because of David Lowery's style that he brings to the table that makes it that way. And yeah, like the fucking score to this film is just so fucking moving and heartbreaking and masterful. The song from Dark Rooms is just like, oh my God, it hits me on such a higher level. Like really, like just if I hear almost, I mean, really, if I hear any score from this film, it's gonna bring me to tears. But that song specifically, always brings me to tears. It's just so effective, and yeah, I mean, again, I think what David Lowery was able to accomplish was such a simple, like, with such a simple concept, really, is basically just somebody dies, and then throughout the film we get that perspective as time moves on through a ghost sheet, which is a very simple and really like cost-effective concept. He just really made something that was special and something that was really moving and existential. Putting somebody in a ghost sheet can come off super cheesy and corny and just not good at all.
Yeah.
But he did the exact opposite. He was able to make something that just felt so impactful and so emotional and so thought-provoking. So yeah, I mean, overall, like I think he was able to use this very simple and cost-effective concept in a way that makes all of us think about not only our place in the universe, but just how valuable time is in general. But yeah, that's all I'll say about it. This movie is just so special to me. I love it.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's a really great connection you have with that movie for sure. And I second everything you said. I absolutely adore the film. I actually got a chance to meet David Lowery once. After screening of this film, he did a Q&A, and I went up to him and told him how much the movie meant. And he was just such a real welcoming, direct, usually sometimes they're a little off-putting or, up their own ass, but he was like, yeah, man, he's like, it's cool. You want to get into films too. And he was just super, and you could see that the genuineness, and the, how much humanity he has in this film. So, so I agree. I think it's an incredible movie. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel the same way. Like we were just saying when you were gone, Carlos, when, in the middle of that, I was just telling them like, this is like the last movie I remember where I actually cried during it. And
wow.
Specifically like the scene where it's just so fucked up how he's like has to like be in this house seeing everyone's like his like partner's life and move on without him, and he's like kind of forced to watch that. And like the scene where she like finally brings some like guy home and he has to like kind of be there and like watch that. Dude, that like destroyed me, bro, because I think I was also kind of still going through like the aftermath of a breakup at that time, and like kind of like feeling like I really just like felt that like people, like move on from you once you're gone and shit. And but like it sounds like hell to like if you died and you had to like be there and see like people move on from you and shit. That is really tough. And then just like that's just like one part, but like the rest of the movie, the way they do time and stuff, it's incredible. I was blown away by this movie for sure.
Absolutely. Like it's just such a complex feeling, like having to come to grips with the fact that people have to move on. Because like, I always tell people like, if I die, I don't want people to at all. I mean, the ideal situation is I don't want people to feel sad. Like I don't want anybody to ever cry over me. But that's just not reality. I know that some people are going to, and that's just the reality of it. But, ultimately, I would love for people to move on. Like, I don't want people to linger on it. I want people to move on because I think that's healthy, lingering on things like that is going to rob you of a quality life. But at the same time, like if conceptually speaking, if I had to sit there and witness people moving on, that would hurt. That would be devastating. And I'll be lying if I said that wouldn't be devastating. It's a very complex feeling. It's something that has to happen because it's good for them. But it just hurts to know that in a way you're kind of being forgotten. But yeah.
Absolutely.
I agree.
It takes a very taboo and like uncomfortable subject that we all try to bury deep down in our subconscious, but it does it in a very elegant and like loving way. That's why I love this movie. It's like it's just about humanity in general. And like I remember halfway through this movie, there's that monologue that the guy from Old Joy actually gives. And like that scene, I was like, it's just so, a lot of people called it preachy, like the writing in that scene, but I thought it was like incredibly profound and like personal. If you guys know what the scene I'm talking about.
It's like the only scene with like dialogue.
The guy at the party, who just kind of and that scene's just beautiful. And
thank you. I love that scene. But a lot of people tell me, oh, that's one thing that's holding the film back is that it's so on the nose and it's so preachy.
I hate to be the fucking person, but yeah, that is the one scene I don't like in an otherwise brilliantly told film.
I totally get it, but come on, he's from Old Joy though. He's a Kelly Reichardt.
I've never seen the Old Joy, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
But I don't want to like have the one thing I say about it be negative because of course I completely echo what you guys are saying. It's that scene specifically like with the I can't remember what action he does. Like there's like something to be left behind or something like that. And he watches like the house crumble or something. Like that scene's very harrowing. It's so emotionally devastating, but like as Carlos said, it's fundamentally like human, and it's like with the reality that that's just gonna happen. And it's the movie is just very like genuinely like profound without saying like much of any dialogue. It's through like not even necessarily like acting, because we are watching like a sheet, like a literal ghost sheet, but it's just like the emotions of the of what's happening on screen. It's very, very real.
Yeah. I want to rewatch this like right after we stop. I need to re-experience what this movie gave us, you know. Also Rudy Mara ate a whole pie and threw up.
Oh, I love that
that's
scene.
That's acting
That's
right there.
such a great scene. Yeah.
Love that.
Oh yeah, I will defend that scene to my dying day.
Yeah. I love that scene.
Me too.
Also, I love how like in this film we get like a scene to where, you know, once Rooney Mara has moved on to like a different house, he still stays in the house, and then we have like this like Latin family move in, and they're there, and we get almost this really like horror-esque take and like conceptual take on a haunting, where it's like, you know, there's this like he's basically haunting the house because of him again, almost like it's a very classic take on a haunting, but presented through a very substantive lens to where we kind of get to see like the pain that he's experiencing up until that point. So we kind of get to see the classic haunting thing of like, oh, this person is not ready to leave and is taking it out on the current family that's dwelling in the home. But it just feels so much more effective and rewarding when presented through this build-up lens. Yeah, I just thought I'd bring that up because I also love that scene as well.
For sure. Yeah. Very lugubrious film, but I get a lot out of it.
That's a good pick. I would vote for that one.
Oh hell yeah! Thank you.
Yeah.
Don't give away your secrets too early, my man. We're gonna talk. I'm just kidding.
I love it.
I would too, actually. David Lowery. I want David Lowery to make more art house films. After that, The Green Knight, like I wish he would do it more. But
yeah, because after The Green Knight, he made fucking like some Peter Pan movie or some shit.
Peter and Wendy. Yeah.
What the fuck you doing, man?
He's a softie, but we love him.
Like I know you probably need, you know, I'm sure the paycheck was good, but it's time to go back to real cinema. Come on.
True. Yeah, good stuff, guys. My number 2 comes from my favorite directors of all time, the Coen brothers. And this is one of my favorite films by them. One of my favorite films of all time, and that is Forgive the Normie Blu-ray, but that is Inside Llewyn Davis by the Coen brothers.
Fantastic film.
Which is, I mean, what we've been kind of talking, a common theme today is just films that got us deeper and deeper into films. And this was a film I saw in theaters back in 2014. Very thriving time for, you know, there you go. We got the criterion there. Thank you for that. And this was just a time where I was, you know, as Felix was saying, discovering more directors. And I was, you know, going through the Coens and saw they had a new movie coming out. And ever since then, I just fell in love with this movie and what it was kind of saying about the starving artist. And it's a very, very, very melancholic film. Having seen it, you know, many, many times now, and just the journey that Oscar Isaac or Llewyn goes on, how hopeless it all feels. There's just so much truth to it, I think, for, you know, obviously it details the folk scene, folk music in New York in the late 60s, transitional period for music and everything. But I feel like it has such a timeless sort of messaging for just artists in general, you know, the ones that have the talents, or maybe just one little thing, like in the film, spoiler, one of his partner committed suicide, his music partner, and he becomes this very sort of self-destructive, toxic person. And I feel like, you know, we're aspiring filmmakers here. We felt I've very much related to Llewyn's struggle many times, where he's just kind of drifting around and he's just so tired of it all. And he feels like he has the talent and a voice to sort of contribute to the scene, but, you know, no one's giving him a shot. And I feel like for the Coens, like a lot of their movies are either really ironic or sort of poking fun at their characters, but this movie felt like a very genuine character study. Oscar Isaac's fantastic. It's got a great supporting cast with like Carey Mulligan, Adam Driver for one amazing scene, John Goodman. Just a great movie about the starving artist is what I'll say. And like the cinematography, like how desaturated it all feels, like this kind of grayish look. It's like one of my favorite, they work with Deakins all the time. So a lot of their movies look fantastic, but there's something about this desaturated look in this movie that always spoke to me. I love, again, I had Melancholia. I love movies about depression and that sort of hopeless feeling that we all come across sometimes. And I don't know if y'all would consider this a top tier Coen Brothers film, but to me, it's sometimes I do believe it's one of their best films in their filmography. So I had to bring it up.
I definitely put it in my top 5 Coens, probably.
I put it in my top 5 for sure. Yeah.
Sick.
I think it is really great.
They have so many great films. So it really just depends on, where your sensibilities are. But ever since it came out, it's been like, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, watch it, man.
You'd like it. It's good.
A lot of Coen films have like a lot of humor to them, and this one is definitely to me like their most like dry, kind of straightforward film, but it's really well told.
That's a good way to say it. Yeah, it's very simplistic because it's just kind of like chronicling just a week in his life, and you're just there for the ride and experience his trials and tribulations. And like the sequence where he goes on that road trip to Chicago, and like you feel like in any other film this would be like their redemption arc and they're gonna finally make it and like become a success. And like I don't want to spoil it for Felix, but like just the hopelessness in this movie I just find really brave. And for kind of like a very people define what people would expect with it. But yeah, I find a lot of comfort in this movie, but I also find a lot of despair and sadness, and that's what cinema is all about, right? Just multiple facets of emotions, and I just love that from this movie. So
you do have that really funny scene though with Adam Driver and Justin Timberlake.
Oh,
please, Mr. Kennedy.
Please, Mr. Kennedy.
That's a top tier fucking Adam Driver scene right there.
I love that scene so much.
It's so good. There is definitely, every Coen Brothers movie, even like No Country, has a little comedy snuck in there, in my opinion. So
yeah,
that's my number 2. And my God, we're at our number 1s for the 2010s.
Spicy time.
Very excited to delve into this. But Felix, our wonderful guest and lover of cinema, what's your number 1, man?
Okay, so my number 1 is kind of a curveball because my last 4 pictures are very violent, intense movies. This one is a romantic comedy from 2011 starring Owen Wilson, which is Midnight in Paris from 2011, written and directed by Woody Allen. And this is a movie where it's like probably my top like comfort movies of all time. Whenever I'm like feeling down or whatever, I'll watch this movie. And then anyone I actually show this movie to, like I can show this movie to like anyone, like my family, like I show this movie to my family and anyone that like, anyone I want. But I just I don't know, this movie also has like a special place for me just because it has like this message in it that I never really saw in a movie before, that like it kind of deals with like the human condition and modernism and this idea that no one's really satisfied in the time they're living in and they want to live in a different time. And I definitely feel that way a lot. Like just thinking about like Jake and I have conversations about like Chicago, living in Chicago, how we feel maybe things were better back then, but if you went back to that time and lived it, like you'd probably feel the same because that was the present moment. And there's a line in the movie where Owen Wilson is like, oh, like no one wants to like live in the present because it's this present's unsatisfying because life is unsatisfying. which is kind of like a something that really stuck to me. And this character is going back in time to, you know, Paris in the 20s, and he's like, oh, I'm finally in the golden era. I'm living in the golden era. It's all great to him, but he starts to realize that the people in the 20s, who's like the contemporary was like the 20s, like think that like the greatest artistic era is like even before them, like the 1890s. And there's a point in the movie where he goes back to the 1890s with Marion Cotillard's character because he falls in love with her. And when they meet the artists of the 1890s, they're thinking, oh no, the best time is like the Renaissance. So it's always like this like cycle that he realizes, and that like really like stuck with me. And I just think it's like a very tight 90-minute movie about kind of like he combines contemporary era, he combines a period piece and fantasy, which is something that if you watch his filmography throughout the years, he's never really done that before, but he's always dabbled in fantasy or a period piece or like a kind of a contemporary romantic comedy. And this one, he like combines all of them, and he just, in my opinion, absolutely nails it. And I think it's a masterpiece of cinema. And like it's just like a tight 90-minute movie too. And just like I can put it like whenever I'm feeling down, I just like put it on and I just feel so much better. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about Midnight in Paris because it's probably my favorite movie of the 2010s, just because I just enjoy watching it so much. And a lot of the movies that I would have put on this list, like even like Django Unchained, like I can't necessarily, like I know every scene from it basically, and I can't watch it like all the time, but like Midnight in Paris I can watch like all the time. And I just think that the writing and the way it's shot, like the fantasy elements, and like Darius Kanji's cinematography, like of like the present day versus like back in the 20s, how he makes like romantic feel to it. I love this movie. Yeah, and then yeah,
Nice.
that's my thoughts about Midnight in Paris. So yeah,
I mean, I love the way you speak about it, you know, and your kind of viewpoint on the and then everything, how you relate to it is, I think it's really good. I won't give my, I don't want to ruin, you know, your pick because I'm not a huge Woody Allen fan, but I do like how you connect to it so deeply.
Yeah, I know you guys never talked about him on the show, like in a set, like I would have, if I was in the 70s and 80s and 90s,
more Woody Allen movies,
I would have definitely
right?
put some, yeah, I think he has masterpieces, multiple masterpieces in the 70s and 80s and 90s. 2000s, he kind of like has a lull, but he comes back with like Midnight in Paris, and I think Midnight in Paris, Blue Jasmine are masterpieces of the 2010s. But
I definitely want to see Blue Jasmine. I'm there for Kate Blanchett's Oscar-winning performance. Go ahead, Carlos. What are you saying?
Oh, I was gonna say I've seen Midnight in Paris. I saw it, my God, forever ago. I
Me
think
too.
I saw that
It's
movie
been a minute.
like 11 years ago or some shit.
Yeah.
But
like,
I liked it. I think it's a good movie. I would like to watch it again just so I can have it fresh in my head. But I really enjoyed the concept of it.
Yeah, and they meet
It is
all
a good
these
concept,
like art.
yeah.
They meet all these real artists that like actually existed, and like it's so
I
like
like that.
fucking, it's so cool. Like I just like love it like that. He just meets like Dali and Hemingway
Dali and fucking Picasso and
Yeah.
To be
Hemingway.
like Hemingway or something, yeah. Scott Fitzgerald.
And
It's a
no,
cool
all these
concept,
figures. Yeah, it's a really cool like concept, and I think he just really nails it. And it's my favorite Woody Allen movie. So and I've seen all of them now.
He's every Woody Allen film.
Yeah. So
yeah, look, man, it's your taste, you know. I know a lot of people don't watch his movies nowadays, but you know, it's up
like
your alley.
Yeah, controversy aside, just looking at the art here, you know.
Yeah.
But,
that's fair, man. Totally good. Well, sick. You're number one. Blaire, you're next.
All right. So anyone who knows me at all probably knows what my number one is. It's The Lighthouse, Robert Eggers. So I'm gonna talk a little personally and then get to the why I love the film. I'll try not to take too long. Like this movie came to me at a time where I was like literally enjoying like life the most. Like the whole year of 2019 basically was just phenomenal on a personal level, and like I I remember like this movie being announced and just being like unbelievably hyped for it. Like I've never been more hyped for a movie because I just loved The Witch so damn much. That's another personal favorite. And me and my girlfriend at the time were like super looking forward to The Lighthouse, and it just very much like lived up to its hype. Like everything I wanted and more, I just got out of my experience. And just like this movie brings nothing but like amazing memories in my life. Like even like the context when I first watched it was really interesting because I wasn't a part of Carlos and Perry's car review for this movie because I was in the West Coast. Funnily enough, I was visiting Reno at the time, and it's funny because like I was enjoying Reno, yeah, but mostly all I could think about was like, oh fuck, The Lighthouse is coming out this weekend. So our
I relate
last
to that so much.
yeah, our last day of Reno, when we were leaving, we were just looking at like showtimes, like where the fuck is The Lighthouse playing? And it wasn't playing in Oregon. So what we did is we drove all the way to Sacramento, California
Holy shit.
to see The Lighthouse.
Wow.
And I was, oh my God, it was so fucking awesome. Like we were so tired, but it was just so interesting because I've never been to California like ever. So, going to a whole different state to, oh shit.
You good?
You good?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You're still there.
All right. My lights just went out, but I guess it didn't like completely cut the power. Okay.
Yeah, I think the storm is like drifting.
Yeah, holy shit. That's trippy, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So glad my internet didn't go out. Anyways, I was just saying it was cool seeing it in another state in weird times. But no, The Lighthouse in and of itself is fucking obviously it's brilliant. It's super unique. To me, there is nothing quite like it, even though I can see elements of The Shining, I can see elements of like Eraserhead and stuff like that. But Robert Eggers is like such a meticulous, crafty filmmaker. And obviously, like it's super humorous while being like genuinely like suspenseful. I adore the fucking authentic like dialogue. The dialogue in general is just really like funny and like almost makes the movie. Like Willem Dafoe gives like the performance of his career, and obviously Robert Pattinson does a phenomenal job. It's like it's not even that old and it's already super iconic with like any like film lover can just quote like you're fond of me lobster and shit like that.
You're fond of me lobster.
There's just so many
that.
there's just so many like amazing sequences that just stick in your mind so much. And even like the weird like nautical themes is just part of why I love this movie so much. Like the fucking mermaid stuff and even like the sound design of like the seagulls, the waves crashing, the fucking foghorn of the lighthouse. It just adds to its like really unique tone and atmosphere. Like I feel like I could go all day of why this movie just is so perfect to me. It just screams Blairecore. And yeah, I'm curious to hear how much you guys like this movie or potentially hate this movie. I don't know.
You never hate it.
Yeah.
I love it. That was
if you hate this movie, something's fucking wrong with you.
Yeah, you gotta screw loose, Johnny.
Yeah.
No, this was like one of my favorite theater experiences ever was seeing this movie, just beyond baffled as the movie went on, but just so enjoying it so thoroughly. As you said, the dialogue, and I'm just a sucker for movies that are like deconstructing masculinity in a very absurd way, and power dynamics and stuff like that. And like their dynamic is just so fucking just fun to watch throughout the whole runtime of the movie. Just obviously Robert Eggers' cinematography is unreal. There's just so much to interpret about this movie. It's so rich, and yeah, I agree with everything you said. It's just so great. And Willem Dafoe, like probably my favorite, if like top three, maybe favorite actors. That's like his best maybe his best work as an actor, I would say.
Yes.
I agree with that.
1000% agree.
It's like,
Yep.
holy fuck. Like, yeah. I mean, Felix and Carlos could chime in, but I agree. I think it's a masterpiece. And my favorite Robert Eggers films thus far, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would probably be my favorite Robert Eggers film as well. And also just when I saw this movie too, it's a very memorable experience because I was staying in where I'm from in Sonoma, California, and we were having a lot of fires. So a lot of
fuck.
a lot of electricity was out. So when we went to go see this movie, we had to drive into another town called Napa. And when we were driving, it was like no lights on the road. It was just smoky.
Oh,
Like
shit.
the atmosphere was just crazy going to see this movie. And like seeing this
Terrifying.
movie during that period, like the lighthouse is just like added a whole new experience to it. Like just the whole atmosphere and the way it's shot, like the intro shot of like the island and them on like the boat and everything. And
Mhm.
I also like the ending is really cool too when he like goes up to the lighthouse and he's like, ah, it's like the distorted fucking sound and yeah, it was
Oh, the editing
It's
and the
kind of
sound,
disturbing, honestly.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
very fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
When
it was
he's-
like, yeah.
When he's
Oh.
like masturbating to the figure, and like thinking about the mermaid, it's like some of the most effective editing that year. I remember I was just, it's so grotesque and like feels so dirty. Yeah.
Yeah, the mermaid's
Oh,
vagina
so good.
too.
Yeah, and you see,
Yeah.
oh, man,
Yeah.
The
Eggers
mermaid
is
puss.
the mermaid puss. Eggers is like, yeah, he goes there. I love it. I love him for that.
Mhm. So I definitely had a memorable experience seeing that and then driving back afterwards in the dark. And there was like a house on fire, like when we were driving back too.
Oh my
Holy
god,
shit.
God.
Yeah.
it's like the end of The Witch a little bit there.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
but there's
Yeah.
definitely
I was gonna say, in terms of Robert Eggers' filmography, personally, The Witch is my favorite. But The Lighthouse is obviously like a very, very extremely close second. Yeah, I fucking love The Lighthouse. I watched it and like in a double feature with Parasite in theaters. So
damn.
That's
I watched,
dope.
I know I watched Parasite, and then after that was finished, I basically like right out of the gate went out to go see The Lighthouse, like right next to each other, and that was the best double feature ever, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty undeniable. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the film. Like pretty much everything y'all said is, I mean, I agree with it. Psychologically speaking, it's just such a fucking powerhouse. Robert Eggers is just such an incredible director. I mean, he's new, he's only made like 3 feature films, but yet like he's just like really showcasing himself as being a guy that we can look forward to for the rest of our lives, basically. So yeah, I mean, I love The Lighthouse. That's all there is to it. I love it to death.
Yeah, 2019 is like such a great year.
Unreal
films,
year.
like,
Yeah, it's crazy how good the year was.
Mhm.
It's just a year of auteurs, because like, not making super big movies per se, but just like very auteur driven works. And it was like really inspiring, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Avengers Endgame.
Yeah. X-Men Dark Phoenix, like come
Yeah.
on.
I
Gotta-
saw that. I remember.
I did too. It was horrible.
It was like the rise of Skywalker to close out the year.
Uh,
Yeah, that came out too. Yeah.
I'm sure you guys will agree, but like Nosferatu, I cannot fucking wait for his
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be
Nosferatu
great.
movie.
Yeah.
God, yeah, everything he makes just gets more and more exciting as time goes on. Love
Yeah.
to see it.
The Lighthouse is literally like in my top 3 favorite movies of all time. It's so special to me. I
Wow.
literally love it that much. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah, hell yeah. Carlos,
yes,
you're
my
up,
turn.
my friend. Yes, sir.
All right. So my number one is a film that was it's basically tied with The Ghost Story. The only reason why I put this one at number one is because I feel like this one is not nearly as personal as A Ghost Story. Like this one I feel like has like objective qualities to it that is just like undeniable. On top of the fact that I also just personally love it to death. The film I'm talking about is Moonlight from Barry Jenkins. This to
Yeah.
me, I feel like there is a valid and fair argument to be made that this is like in the top 20 to 25 greatest films ever made. And I understand it's very early on to decide that, because a lot of what decides how great a film and just art in general is time itself. But Moonlight is just such an important and emotional piece of filmmaking, and so powerful and stylistic. Barry Jenkins just he really like brings his voice into this film in a way that isn't like flashy or over stylized, but you can tell that there is somebody's fingerprints all over this, and it just manages to be something that is so compelling and again just so powerful in ways that again I think is very important. I mean, this film is ultimately about identity and just how your environment can completely rob you of your identity, because it just forces you and molds you into something that you have to be in order to survive. And this film, I feel like, demonstrates that perfectly. And funny enough, I mentioned the Neon Demon earlier, where I had a full film analysis where I discussed every single scene of the film. I actually did the same thing with the Moonlight. I have a video on YouTube on my channel that is literally me dissecting every single scene in this movie from start to finish.
Cool.
And it's a film that obviously just from that statement, I obviously got so much out of. Like every single scene of this movie has something compelling and important and emotional to say. And it's just the score to this film too from God damn it, what's his name?
I got you. I got you in the fact check.
I say his name like every day, but for some reason I can't say it right now. He also did it for Beale Street and did it for Succession too.
Nicholas Britell.
Britell, yeah. His score for this film is fucking brutally emotional, just so fucking great. Beautiful, beautiful score that accompanies such beautiful and devastating visuals. I guess I'll really stop there, but this is a film that I love to death, and again, I think is one of the objectively greatest films ever made, and I will forever love the fact that Moonlight won Best Picture and subverted everybody's expectation, overtaking La La Land. Not that La La Land's a bad movie.
Hey, La La Land's a good movie.
It is. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I like La La Land.
I was gonna say I'm not like in love with La La Land, but it is a pretty damn good movie. But Moonlight to me is just, I don't know. I'm so glad that it won, because to me it's so much more important, and it is to me like a much better film. So yeah, that's all I'll say for now.
I've only seen Moonlight
fucking great
once.
pick. Really?
Yeah, that one time in theaters I saw it with Carlos. I've only seen it once.
I've gone back to Moonlight like 5 or 6 times.
Me too.
I actually wrote a paper on it in school. That's another reason why I watched it so many times. But I'll never forget, like, the second time I went back to the theater to see Moonlight. I went to the Art Collect in Chicago, which is a very trafficked theater, and just like when it ended, like everyone in the audience like sat there for like the entire credits, just processing what they just saw. Because like it's just such an emotional, just gut punch in a way, and it's all done in a very stylistic and like elegant fashion. But it's the power of cinema right there, is what I always use that as an example, because like it's not like it's just subtle filmmaking is the best way to say it. Like to sum up Barry Jenkins' style is pretty tough, because like he's such a visual and kind of sensory filmmaker. And I agree. I'm glad it won Best Picture too, because I always would pick the more artful, impactful film over the populist film. And I'd agree with what you said about being objectively one of the greatest films of the, the century, if not of all time, too. It's a fantastic piece of filmmaking.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I've only seen it once in theaters as well, but it was definitely impactful and memorable. And I remember I saw it with my stepdad and my brother, and like the part where like he's getting like beat up, like his friend is like beating him up. Like I remember my brother like fucking like flinching in the chair because of that shit. Because it's so like he was so like invested, and you definitely like feel that like that scene is brutal.
Yeah, that scene fucking hurts, dude.
The camera was like spinning around as he's like getting infiltrated by all the bullies. Like it's like camera choices like that. Like the opening shot too with Mahershala Ali, like it's kind of like spinning around that. Like there's just a camera language, man. I just love that stuff. And that movie has just so many interesting cinematography choices like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's too heartbreaking to watch again. I think it was very.
I've seen it a lot.
Yeah.
Me too.
It's like really sad, and
I've seen it a lot, and it takes a piece of me every single time.
Every time, yeah.
Yeah, like talk about getting put into like being born to like a position like that. It's just like there's no options at all. Like like just shitty situation at home, like the mom and stuff. And
Naomi
like,
Harris,
his mentor is the guy who's fucking up like lives like his mom and like that whole shit. Yeah.
There's like there's such a complexity to who you are as a person, and you can't explore any of that basically.
Yeah, and the structure, I love the structure though. The three.
Yeah, I like the structure a lot too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love good structure like that.
The third act, like in the diner, especially, that's like one of my favorite scenes. Like it was very long, but that elongated scene is because it's like that whole concept of running into someone that had such a major impact in your life, and like that it's so unsaid and it's so subtle, but like goddamn,
and what that meant to him didn't mean nearly as much as it meant to the other person.
I know. Fuck, I'm crying just thinking about this. God
damn.
And like the final exchange when he's
that final exchange, man, and the ending. Oh my god, dude! Again, emotional gut punch, dude.
You can make the argument another one of the greatest final shots when he's like on the beach and fucking A, man.
It's absolutely beautiful. And again, it is quite sensory too. Like the use of sound and the beach waves and stuff is like vital to like what this film is trying to convey, not only emotionally, but like thematically as well.
Absolutely. I thought you were saying something, Felix. I was waiting for you. Sorry. Do you like Beale Street? If Beale Street,
I love Beale Street, dude.
I like that movie. It's mega underrated. Yeah, I think it's really fucking good, and not a lot of people talk about it these days. But
it's super underrated. Like I thought after Moonlight won Best Picture that Beale Street would have a lot more eyes on it and people would talk about it. But when it came out, it just like immediately flew under the radar. I was really disappointed because I thought it was a brilliant film.
It's gorgeous. Like Nicholas Britell, dude. Nicholas Britell's score is like from that and like Succession, he's like one of my favorite modern composers, period. Just such complexity in everything he does. But Come Back, Barry Jenkins is what part of the reason why I watched that show when it first came out, like season 2, I was like, oh, Nick Britell did the music, I'm in. Like immediately.
I adore the score for fucking Succession. I listen to it all the time.
I do as well, my friend.
No skip on the credits.
Yes, I agree.
Never.
Fucking never.
Never once. If we were doing like 2020s, let's just say Succession's the best of the 2010s in general.
Yeah, basically, I'm with you.
Just say fuck it. And
the finale literally lives rent free in my head. The entire episode.
Yeah. I rewatched the finale a few times after it came out. And it was
damn.
Yeah. I just didn't want to leave the show either, too. I was just like,
I feel that.
I relate.
Yeah, I definitely missed them afterwards. Like I watched the whole scene and I watched the whole show in like from when the last season was ending. So like when it was done, it was like, oh, there's not gonna be another season coming out.
Yeah.
So I just like kind of missed it for a bit.
Yeah.
For sure.
It is. I miss it too. I miss Rome and Shiv and all of them. Just
I miss
Acting a
Tom.
fool.
Logan Roy.
Greg.
Greg.
Yeah.
Greg the egg, baby.
Greg the egg.
You know the episode of the election when he's the lemon soda or whatever. Fucking funniest shit ever.
It's so funny.
It's lemon, Greg. Oh, fuck.
His fucking lemon LaCroix. He's like,
Yeah, that's what he's like, it's subtle, I swear. Oh, genius. All right, I'll close this off because we've been going a while. We mentioned this film before, but my number one favorite movie of the 2010s decade was Good Time by the Safdie brothers. So
Based.
it makes the list. I don't know. Felix said everything pretty great. This movie's dirty. This movie's just thrilling on every level. I rewatched this movie actually in preparation for the pod a few weeks ago, and like before after Uncut Gems, you realize how stripped down this movie actually is. Like it feels so much smaller than I remember. Aside from like Robert Pattinson, and just to propel that much just energy and anxiety into this movie on that budget is just so inspiring. Because like seeing this movie back in 2017, I'll echo what Carlos, all of you guys have said. Like this movie like changed how my kind of style and like how I wanted to make films, because like it was utilizing so much with a little, but injecting so much just creativity in every shot, and just authenticity between the actors and like the non-actors that they use, which I love how they do that. Feels very New York in every aspect. And as you guys mentioned before, like the reason I like this movie over Uncut Gems is just how emotional the relationship between brothers is in this movie. It's kind of like, I always compared it to like a modern day retelling of Mice and Men, which I know they were going for, that very toxic relationship between brothers that you could, you've all felt sometimes with your siblings, and like injecting that into like a very riveting crime story saga. And I love the Safdies, how they approached. They were like, we never want to use guns in this movie. We want it all to be with like action and dialogue and just the situations at hand. And the way it escalates is just beyond masterful, in my opinion. And also, I'm a sucker for movies that capture the zeitgeist. That movie came out in a very politically unrestful time, and people were very angry and very just kind of dissatisfied with the world. And I feel like Good Time kind of captured that energy. And yeah, like kind of like, I don't know, like a Sidney Lumet film or like other films from the 70s. Like I feel like this movie just captured the time and how everyone's very capitalist minded, and kind of disregard for human life was kind of a very weird point in our country and stuff. So I just, for all those reasons, like I think that is one of the most just memorable films of the decade, and my personal favorite. So that's it.
Like fucking Safdie brothers, like where the fuck are they, dude? Cinema needs them, like for real.
Cinema does need
they're
them.
an Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I was gonna say that actually.
They're
one of them is, but like they need to come back. Like I don't know where they are.
Well, they're making like I know that Josh Safdie's making a series with Adam Sandler, I think, on HBO.
And Benny's
Is
doing
it
the
a
thing
series?
I thought it was a series.
I thought it was a film that they're doing.
I thought it was a film.
Like sports memorabilia. But Benny's doing that show with Nathan Fielder.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited.
I'm very excited for that. They might be separating for a little bit, kind of like what the Coen brothers are doing right now, but I'm still excited to see them, what they do. I know what you're saying, but at the very least, they did deliver 2 masterpiece films within 2 years. So I'm like, we'll see what happens. But I agree. I'd love them to come back,
Yeah, like for real. They came out with like 2. I mean, obviously they probably can't relive that past those past movies, but like
I doubt it.
Cinema needs them,
I agree. I mean, I definitely agree with that. Yeah,
I love the Safdies, dude. I just love their filmmaking style, man. They're so fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
They're awesome.
They are the shit. Yeah, I agree. All right, that's it. Now we got to rank these. We got to rank these 20 films. You guys know the drill. I don't know if Felix knows, but we're gonna go through each film but one by one, and we're gonna kind of make a vote if it should make the top 10 or not. And we kind of just deliberate, and maybe a little arguments will unfold with that, but we'll just do it. We'll just go by one. We'll try to keep it a little speedy because I know we're short on time here. But actually, honorable mentions. I forgot about that. We'll keep it brief. Does anyone have like something they really want to mention that hasn't been mentioned yet? That could we mentioned Parasite, obviously.
But,
sorry.
Oh, so, yeah, it's The Place Beyond the Pines from
Yes.
2012.
Thank you. Love that film to death.
I like that film a lot. I'll write it down. I mean, like,
The Social Network.
should I write down?
Yes,
Parasite,
I
even though
fucking adore The Social Network.
that was
And
close to making my list. The Social
Yeah.
Network.
Go ahead. Sorry.
The Raid 1
Yes,
was also
based.
it's also on there too. I have just like a list of. I'm just gonna like shoot them out and then
Go ahead.
I just say them. So I have
Yeah.
So
I'll write them down if they
Nymphomaniac 1,
haven't seen.
The Raid
Nice.
1, Drive Angry,
You're wild.
Drive, Grand Budapest Hotel, and The Lobster.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah.
Those were like
No
those are
Wes Anderson. Grand Budapest is based. I like that.
yeah.
Blair, do you have any?
Yeah, I'll just go through mine really quick too. It's not a super long list. Killing of a Sacred Deer, Parasite, Midsummer, Tree of Life, which I'm so surprised Carlos didn't put in his list, but that's fine.
Yeah, damn, that's a good one.
Incendie, Burning, and The Master.
Oh, The Master. Fuck.
That was so close to making my list. It's so fucking close.
I almost had Phantom Thread on mine as well. I'm a big fan of that movie. Carlos, do you have any?
I don't think I have any like off the top of my head, but hold on, I got you.
I could read mine real quick. I had The Witch. I had The Social
Witch, yes.
Network. I had Moonlight, you already mentioned. I had The Wind Rises by Hayao Miyazaki, which I adore that film.
Oh, nice.
Social Network. I had Patterson by Jim Jarmusch, that's just a personal favorite. That's pretty much it. I mean, I will say Spring Breakers just to piss Carlos off, but
Great film.
I genuinely love that fucking
I do
movie.
love that movie too.
I don't want to be chaotic and say it's best of the decade, but it's pretty fucking based, if you ask me.
Yes.
Yeah. So also, I want to say Ida from 2014, the Paula Pawlowski.
Ooh,
I really want to
watch that. Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
Paul.
that one
I love Cold War, so I want to see that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my notes. I have some other ones, but
Okay.
Go ahead, Carlos.
All right. Well, personally, I mean, I know that y'all would put The Master above Phantom Thread, but I would put Phantom Thread above The Master.
I agree with you. Yeah,
I don't.
that's my
no.
damn. I'm kidding.
The Hunt.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh.
That is an amazing film.
oh,
I mean,
oh my
I know.
God.
I mean, Birdman is really fucking amazing.
Oh.
too.
Yeah, I love Birdman. Holy fuck.
Birdman.
Yeah. I'll write it down.
The Revenant, dude.
No.
Yes.
Fucking Whiplash, dude. That has to be an honorable mention.
Yeah, Whiplash is good, dude.
Incredible.
The Kingsman, the Secret Service, the first one.
First Reformed.
Yes.
First Reformed.
Mommy.
Yeah, you did
yeah,
mention
yeah.
that. I forgot. Shit.
Mommy's that almost made my list.
What about
You were gonna-
Silence by Martin Scorsese?
Yeah, that was gonna be something I was gonna
Oh,
bring
Wolf
up.
of Wall Street, right? That one's fucking amazing.
That one
I had
too.
that in mind. I just know it's a hot button.
I really like The Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah, I love it.
I'll write it down. Fuck it.
Silence is better though.
I agree.
I
That's
like The Wolf
said.
of Wall Street a little bit more.
Oh, what the fuck?
I love both. Daniel Blake. What about that?
I love
Yes.
Daniel
I've
Blake.
seen it.
Holy
I
fuck.
haven't seen it.
Certain women's another one.
You were never really here.
Oh fuck!
I thought that was gonna make your list. I
I haven't
predicted
seen
that.
it. I haven't seen
Yeah.
That's a
it was
mess.
tough.
That's an amazing fucking movie, dude.
I know, dude.
I have to bring up
Go
Her
ahead.
as well.
Oh, Her's great too.
Her is amazing.
Son of Saul,
Yes,
Need to see that.
masterpiece.
Yeah, that was
masterpiece.
Shame by C. McQueen. I quite like a lot. I don't know if you guys have seen.
I haven't
I've seen
seen
it.
it. I want to.
It's
I saw
great.
The Devil.
Oh,
Great film.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I wrote that down because that was one of mine.
Okay.
The house that Jack built.
Oh
They-
shit,
Yeah.
dude.
Great.
Yeah,
film.
that's a great movie.
That's a great
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
movie.
If
I
I
know
know the
Nick-
top 10, I'd be like, hell yeah, that's like
We already.
Yeah, that's a lot.
How do y'all feel about the Nightingale?
I'm a big fan of that movie. I know it's a little mixed, but like
I love it.
I think it's pretty brilliant.
I'm
Same.
mixed on it.
It's very
You
upsetting.
gotta watch that film again, Blair. You watched it like
Yeah.
what, one time. It's
It-
oh my god.
It was weird. I expected to love it a lot more. So yeah, I gotta watch it again.
I know you guys haven't seen it, but one of my favorite films of all time is American Honey by Andrea Arnold.
Mm.
I think is an incredible movie.
Oh, Honey Boy is also really good.
Honey Boy is good.
Yeah, it's a
That
good
movie
one.
that movie
Holy
fucked me up.
Motors, fuck.
Oh, Holy Motors is great. Oh, last film I'll mention, a movie I really love, Leviathan.
I still need to see that shit.
It's amazing, in my opinion.
The kid with the bike.
Oh, the Dardennes. Shit.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever see 2 Days, One Night?
Nope.
No.
That's a brilliant movie.
One more I want to
Cool.
mention, which is a personal favorite, like that one of my favorites for sure is The Gentleman by Guy Ritchie, 2019.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I love
I like that
movie.
one.
I've seen that movie
Yeah.
like a lot. So
It's a great movie. I like it a lot.
also Interstellar.
Yes.
Wait, we didn't even say Interstellar yet.
Yeah.
Interstellar. Let's fucking go.
Dunkirk
I wouldn't
is
be
good.
mad if that made the. I don't think it will, but I wouldn't be mad if it made the list.
I also want to shout out Thunder Road from Jim Cummings.
Oh yeah,
Oh
Jim-
yeah. That's
Jim
based on a
Cummings,
short
dude.
film.
It's based on a short, but
It's based on a
uh,
short film, yeah.
Yeah.
He made a full length, which is fucking
Damn.
fantastic. And The Wolf House.
Never heard of that.
No, that
What?
was that was
You
like
haven't heard of The
horror-
Wolf House?
That's
What's
a
The
horror
Wolf?
movie, right? With the I've seen the cover on Tubi. It's on my list, but I haven't seen it.
It's
Yeah,
a great film. Amazing film.
It's probably the most unsettling and most brilliantly crafted stop motion animation.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know what this is. Yeah, shit. I gotta watch that.
I think
definitely.
that's. Oh, what about Roma?
Roma's great.
Mm.
Roma's great. I struggle because I prefer the other Cuaróns just so much, but that's just a personal thing.
Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah. Under the Silver Lake, dude.
Under the Silver Lake's so good.
Yeah.
Oh fuck it, I'll shout it out. Lady Bird too. Fucking love Lady Bird.
Lady Bird's
Oh,
good. I'll go
Lady
Lady
Bird's
Bird.
fucking great.
Hereditary, dude.
Oh
Yeah.
I love her.
Rye would be upset if we didn't mention
Hereditary
Hereditary.
is really good. Hereditary
Yeah.
is really
Honestly,
I'm surprised
I'd
you
probably-
didn't have it, Felix.
No, it's too on the nose for me, I think.
Hmm.
It's a good pick though. I wouldn't be.
No, it's a good movie. Like I don't know.
I don't think it should make the top 10 personally, but
I would sacrifice one of my films for Ari Aster, bro.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. Yeah.
You can. Yeah, you're definitely. You could do it.
Yeah, Ari Aster, Safdie, and Robert Eggers deserve to be
Yeah.
on the list, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna vote that for the top 10, but you could do it. I love Hereditary, but
Hereditary is honestly, I think, like the best modern horror film we've had like in a very long time.
why didn't any of you guys bring it up in the top 5?
Because there was two like
I prefer
on the
Midsummer.
nose.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be obvious, so I didn't
Yeah,
do
it's
it.
too obvious. Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to talk about movies
Uh,
that maybe like wouldn't
I-
get talked about.
I just like
Hereditary is the scariest movie of the 2010s, maybe.
Yeah,
you could take out Neon Demon for Hereditary. Is that what you say?
I'd do it. Fuck it.
All right.
I love Midsummer more, but I do love Hereditary as well.
Midsummer's great.
I wish
I'd
I could
take-
argue Bo is Afraid is my favorite of all of them. I would argue that, but it's.
Yeah, but that's not 2010s.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
Sorry, dude.
I love that. Beau's Afraid is my favorite Ari Aster as well.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
mine's Midsummer. Yeah. Sorry.
Hereditary.
We all got
Hereditary.
different RES there. Cool.
Yeah.
You guys, you seen
It's-
Blue is the
what-
warmest color?
I love that
No.
movie, but
I
I
love
figured
that movie
nobody
a
would.
lot.
I figured nobody here would be like, "Oh yeah, that one."
No,
What about
I would be on board.
Inception, guys. How was
Nah.
about
Yes.
No.
I've never
Inception's
seen it.
great.
Never seen it.
Inception's great, but
Wow.
I don't want to go on the. If we're going Nolan, I would go Interstellar.
Yes. Me
Or
too.
Tom-
I
Dunkirk
would go
even.
Inception. I haven't even seen it.
Oh, fuck you.
You
Oh, fuck off.
Interstellar is great. Yeah.
guys like the Florida Project?
I love.
Oh,
it.
hell yeah.
I haven't seen
Tangerine.
it. I haven't seen it.
I feel like Sean Baker is another like great, modern director that we could shout out.
Oh, Ford versus Ferrari.
No, man. God
No.
damn it.
I'm a
Not
huge,
even as a joke.
I'm a huge fan of Gone Girl by David Fincher. Actually,
Gone Girl
I
is
don't know.
phenomenal.
Yeah,
I'm a
Gone
huge
Girl.
fan of it. All right, I'm
Girl
done.
Dragon Tattoo. I love Girl Dragon
Oh,
Tattoo.
one last
Was-
one. The Irishman.
Yes, Scorsese, dude.
I gotta go Wolf of Wall Street over that though. But
I would say
Interesting.
Irishman, then Wolf of Wall Street, then Silence for the
Silence.
best of the 2010s. But
you know,
For me, it's Silence, Irishman, and then Wolf of Wall Street.
For me,
But
it's
I love them
Irishman,
all.
Wolf of Wall Street, then Silence.
I think and Hugo is up there too.
yeah, dude, I haven't seen Hugo in a while. But
Hugo goes hard.
I've never
Hugo.
seen it.
all right,
That's good.
well, I think all right. Let's table those for now.
Yeah.
We'll go through our top fives. Felix, since you started, number 5, Mandy.
Hmm.
I go yes on that one.
I do love Mandy to death, but it's hard for me to put that above a lot of the shit we just listed.
I'm with
Yeah.
Carlos. Yeah.
I am too, and I'm not even. Never mind. We'll move on.
He's not a fan, yeah.
I'm not a fan
Alright.
of Mandy, but
Oh, really?
I no, I'm not like as much as you guys. I think it's good. It's just
Oh, okay.
I
Gotcha.
struggled with it pretty hard, but Cell Block at 99. Sadly I would say no, even though I love it.
I'd say no,
I'd
fortunately.
say no.
Sorry, dude. Good Time automatically makes it because of my list. Django Unchained.
Oh, man. I'd probably say yes, personally, but I'm probably going to be alone on that.
Felix would. We'll go with you.
Yeah.
I would say no, and I'm sure Blair would say no too because
Yeah,
of everything
no.
before.
Then
I'll
it's
put
probably
it-
no.
I'll put an asterisk by that. Midnight in Paris makes it automatically.
Oh shit. Really?
Your number
Yeah, it
ones
does.
make it automatically. That's
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry guys.
you chaos
It's
freak.
okay.
Um, all right,
I
Blair's.
would have been a no. Man.
That's all right, man. It's your list. Blair's list. We got Climax at number 5.
Oh yeah.
I'd probably say yeah.
I would vote
Yeah.
a fat yes for that
Oh,
one.
shit.
Yes.
Let's
Yes.
go. Yes.
Climax goes so hard, dude.
Yeah, it
Climax is so great. Suspiria 2018.
No.
I'm
I
inclined to
don't
say
expect it. I don't expect it to make it.
Nah.
that's a nah.
That's okay.
A Separation I haven't seen.
Yeah,
I'd say yes.
Sorry.
Hard
Oh,
yes.
it's so good though. But I
haven't seen it.
understand.
Fuck,
That's
we're
okay.
those assholes that leave it off because we didn't see it. But I'll asterisk it because
Well, yeah, there's so many movies.
Let the
to see.
record be shown. I gave it a fat yes.
no, I'm sure it's amazing. It looks right up my alley. I just gotta fucking watch it. The
Yeah,
Handmaiden.
I gotta see it.
Oh, that's a yes.
Oh.
That's a definite. I know Felix. What would you say in The Handmaiden? Because I'm a fat yes too.
I wouldn't put it in
Ooh.
my top 10. I wouldn't put it in my top
You
10.
wouldn't do it.
No.
Oh,
Well, I-
fuck, dude.
I say yes.
I do too.
As
It's on
an
my
ass-
it's on my list, so I say yes. But
That's 3 yeses. That's
All
pretty
right,
good.
That's like
pretty
a-
good odds there.
That's like a big ass asterisk. All
It's a
right.
good movie. It's a
Yeah.
good movie.
All right. I'll go mine next. Melancholia by Lars von Trier.
Yes.
I want to say
Yeah.
yes, but against the competition, probably.
It's a
not.
lot of competition.
Same.
That's fair. That's fair. Certified copy.
Yes.
Carlos, you've all.
Damn, that's
Wow.
a fat yes for me.
No, it's a
There's
no
just,
for me.
it's so many movies though. Like it's hard.
Damn.
Can I asterisk it? Maybe.
Yes, asterisk it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Yes.
Yes. Felix.
I would say no.
Fair.
All right. Strong asterisks though. I think that's gonna make it. Sorry to say.
It's all right, yeah.
I don't think Inside Llewyn Davis is gonna make it, but
Yeah,
Haven't seen
unfortunately
it.
not.
that's all right. Yeah, it's a personal pick. All right, Moonlight makes it for Carlos, but going down Hereditary.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
Blair, help me out.
Um, I don't know. I'm undecided on that one. With the
You guys-
competition, it's
What
like
up? What about
what-
the Neon Demon?
I'd rather Hereditary. I do love the
I
Neon
don't.
Demon.
But what about like? What other horror movies from the decade? Like
Yeah,
The
like-
Witch.
Well, we can't put the witch because the lighthouse is gonna make it already.
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, not that we
I mean,
can't do
I don't-
it.
I
I'm
don't
just
give a
saying.
shit.
I'm
mean,
hard yes. Hereditary.
I would
Thank
do
you.
yes,
the Witch.
Hereditary.
I don't give a shit.
You know what?
I'm just
You know-
saying if we have two Bob Egg but no like Ari Aster, it's kind of like what the fuck.
No,
Yeah,
you're
I
right.
guess
You're
so.
right.
I
You're
guess
right.
so.
You're right. Fucking A, man. Strong asterisks.
All right, I say yes on Hereditary. Fuck it.
Oh hell yeah.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well,
'Cause I
under the
do
skin.
love that movie.
Under the skin. I had it on my
Yes.
list, so
It
That
was
was on-
originally on my list.
Yeah,
That was on
I mean,
three people's list.
that's an
Like,
obvious
yeah.
pick. That's an
Yeah.
obvious one.
I'm wearing the shirt too.
Yeah, that's a given, right? Ghost Story.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
Ghost Story's good.
fucking undecided.
Yeah.
I love it so much, but
I say yes to Ghost Story. I fuck with it.
I'm in between a Ghost Story and The Handmaiden right now. It's like, which one would I rather see on there?
Oh, Ghost Story. Ghost Story.
Yes. God,
Mm,
Felix is so
Well,
pissed.
Blair, what would you say about The
I'll
Handmaiden?
be the asshole. I'll say. Oh wait, for
Yeah,
Handmaiden
Ghost
or
Story. Ghost Story. I'm sorry. Yeah, Ghost Story.
Just
Oh.
Ghost Story.
I'll be the asshole and say no.
Oh my god.
It's
Wait,
okay.
that's-
We're all...
Okay, I skipped Arrival. My bad.
Oh,
Yes, dude. Come on.
I would say yes personally.
yes. I say yes to Arrival. Dennis feeling away there. Yeah.
So Carlos, every one of his movies gets on there if that's the case. We got to
Ooh.
leave a little.
Have we
room
gone through
here.
everyone?
Yeah, Carlos is last.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3. We got 7 for sure's right now.
I mean,
Better.
I can let go of a ghost story, I guess, if it means that. to make room.
I'd rather a Ghost Story over Arrival personally,
You know what? I agree with that personally, but
because I do love a Ghost Story. Arrival,
I would
just
say a
haven't
Ghost
seen
Story
in too
over
long.
Arrival. Yeah.
That's
Porque no los dos.
That's tough.
Los dos, man. Arrival
What a-
and a ghost story. Let's go.
What a story, Mark.
What a story, Mark. Fuck, dude. I don't know.
I'm joking.
Because I would pick Arrival over Ghost Story, I think. Now I'm thinking about it.
They're like so even in my head, but I like Ghost Story just would be cooler to be on that list, you know.
Oh man, I
Yeah,
have a
it's
ghost.
tough run.
The Kino Lords.
Can I go back through all the asterisks real quick?
Sure.
Because we have a lot. That's what I'm saying. Django Unchained. I think we got to cancel that one, Felix. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's all good.
We got
We might have
two
to.
two no's. Yeah, I like it a lot. No shade. The
Yeah.
Handmaiden.
I say yes.
Yes.
I also say yes.
Yeah, I'll say yes to The Handmaiden.
There you go. There we go. Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Yeah.
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 Like, I don't fuck with it, but sure, we can just put it on the list.
A Certified Copy.
I just don't think so. I love that
Yeah,
fucking
no.
movie to death,
All
but
right,
That's fine.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fine.
fine.
That's fine. That's fine.
I like Certified Copy way more than Portrait of a Lady on Fire, though.
that's fair.
That's fair. I get that.
I would rather have Certified Copy than The Handmaiden.
fuck with that.
probably.
I fuck with
Not
that
The
a lot.
Handmaiden, no. Yeah, no, more than yeah.
We got 2 more slots that we got to do. Seems like they might be coming from Carlos's list because Ghost Story, Arrival, and Hereditary. We got to pick which 2 of those are going to make it, unless we pick one from the honorable mention list.
Wait, what were the three your top four?
Wait, what about
three?
Parasite? Shouldn't Parasite just be there
I mean,
automatically?
that's what I'm.
Yeah, that's a hard yes for me too.
I know Felix doesn't fuck with Parasite as heavy as
Really?
us,
Oh,
but
damn.
I agree with you guys.
I mean, I don't give Parasite a 10. I give that a 9. So
yeah, I mean, I get that for sure. But you saying it should be in the list automatically?
it's only because of like objectivity. That's the only reason why. But like personally, no, I wouldn't put it on there. But it's just like if I'm trying to be like if I'm trying to make a fair top 10 that represents the best of the decade, then I just feel like I don't know. It feels wrong to not have Parasite on there.
That is
It's-
interesting.
I agree.
Interesting.
'Cause
What
it's
about Social Network is also an objective pick, I think, too. I don't know if you guys agree, but
I
I think
agree
it's a good pick.
personally.
Yeah, Social Network is great.
I mean, I think it's a masterpiece.
It's
It's
a
not-
masterpiece to me.
It's not nearly as objective as Parasite, though.
I was just bringing up another honorable mention, like not to pin them against each other, but
Yeah,
those
either
are the two from the honorable mentions. I would say like maybe they should be on there, but
yeah, you can put Parasite on the list if you want. Like,
okay. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're cool with that too, Carlos, I think it should be on the list.
All right, fuck it. That means you all
You don't
gotta pick
you don't
one of my
have to,
two.
you don't
I
have
wouldn't put it on
to.
the list, but we can put it on the list. Sounds like you guys.
Well, yeah, we should do it. It deserves to be on the top 10. It's the first foreign film to win Best Picture at the Oscars, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just kind of a good pick for the list itself.
Yeah,
So from Carlos's final three, we got to pick either a Ghost Story, Arrival, or Hereditary.
Oh my god,
That's a tough one, man.
that's fucked.
Hereditary. Ari Aster, baby. We got
Everyone just say their pick right now. Like
we got to get it all. We got to get Ari Aster.
I can't. I literally can't pick.
I would say a Ghost Story.
I would say Hereditary, personally.
All right.
If I'm going personal, I'd say Ghost Story.
Oh shit, it's a tie, right?
That's a tie right there. So we
Oh,
give it to
shit.
Arrival.
Yeah, you can give it. We can give it the Ghost Story. We can give it the Ghost Story.
Ah,
I'm
man.
cool with that.
You sure?
Is there any other
I mean,
film
I
on the
prefer
list?
Hereditary, but it's fun. Like,
Is there any other film on the list that we could agree to put Hereditary over after Ghost Story gets in?
Oh,
I know it's kind of a fucked up question, but I'm just saying, is there any other film we can all agree on and say, yeah, let's just put Hereditary instead?
for me personally, no. But
Can you read them all off?
yeah, sure. Good Time, that makes it automatically. The
Yeah.
Lighthouse makes it automatically, and Midnight in Paris and Moonlight all make it automatically.
Okay.
The ones that could be are in trouble are Portrait of a Lady on Fire, The Handmaiden, Climax, Under the Skin, and that's it.
Hereditary should be over Climax, personally.
Oh, I don't agree.
No,
I don't think
no.
so.
Climax is no.
I definitely could see that, but
Climax
fucking
is too-
Climax, dude. I
It's
don't
Climax, yeah.
Yeah.
Hereditary shook me to my fucking core, dude. I haven't seen a movie in modern day time that has shook me and petrified me to my core the way that Hereditary did.
So you just
Yeah,
want to put
right.
it? We can just put it on and say no to the Ghost Story. If you want to do that, dude.
That's so painful, bro.
I'm gonna leave it up to you, man. It's your those are your movies right there. I'm fine with either one at this point. But
Hereditary or Ghost Story. Yeah.
Ghost Story is like might not be as culturally significant as Hereditary is what I'll say. Like I think Hereditary like changed horror for a while, so I'd be cool with that.
Just put Hereditary instead
All
of
right,
Ghost Story.
shit.
That hurts me deep inside,
Dude.
just like how Ghost Story hurts me deep inside.
Me too, man. I mean, honestly, that was painful.
Like I didn't pick Hereditary because I did feel like it was the obvious one, but it is like a really good movie, you know.
It is great, yeah.
It
I
is
wouldn't pick
amazing.
Parasite, you know, like, but that one's
Better than Parasite, you said?
no. I feel like people didn't pick Parasite because it was kind of obvious as well.
Yeah.
You know?
No, yeah, I didn't. I could have easily put it in my 5, but
Yeah, me too. Me too.
obvious. All right, we got to rank these bad boys now.
Yeah.
I kind of already know what's going to be last, but I don't want to go outright and say it.
Yeah, I think I know what's last too, dude.
I mean, dude, I
Just go ahead and do it.
It's not.
You're not hurting
Yeah.
anyone's feelings. It's good.
No, I just don't want to be that guy. It's like, oh yeah, that's
It's
my
almost
movie.
it's almost there by default because no one here.
Yeah.
Well, Jake, you don't really care for it that much. Blair hasn't seen it, and I haven't seen it in 11 years.
I have seen it actually. I'm not
Oh.
crazy on it.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
I respect Felix.
I like how we're not even saying the name of the movie, but
It's Midnight in Paris by Woodford Allen. It's like a fucking he who must not
Yeah,
be named.
yeah, it's like Voldemort. Just don't even say it.
yeah.
No, I just wanted to say I respect your take on it a lot. That's why
same.
I don't know. I don't want to be like the guy.
Yeah.
But
I respect
I'm
it.
very passionate about it. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's all good, guys. This is really fun, by the way. Thank
Yeah.
you for having
it's
me on.
always a great
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah, this is fucking awesome.
That's why I'm like, I don't want to put anyone's movies dead last, but
No, Midnight in Paris, put it fucking at the bottom, bro.
take it out of the list completely.
You know what? Just throw it in the trash.
Yeah, just blank it out.
Dude, what if we replace that with the Raid Redemption? Would you be?
No,
I'm just fucking.
No,
with you.
no,
no.
We got to keep it on for you, man. We'll do it.
Yeah.
no. Yeah.
What
It
do you
needs to
got?
be on there.
What do you guys? What would you put at number 9, 8? You know,
9
Hereditary?
climax.
those are I think that's 8 and 9 spots. Yeah, Climax and Hereditary.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Where's good time?
oh shit, yeah. I mean,
What do you
that's
think
my number
personally-
1 and my and your
Personally,
number
I like climax better than good time.
Me too.
3. Mm.
I like
I think
good time better.
Oh fuck! I mean, should we
I
start
wouldn't
from
be mad if
the
Climax is
number 1
above it,
slot? I
but-
feel like we're.
Honestly,
What's the best movie of the 2010s? How will we start there? I can't.
okay. Best movie of
can't do
2010s.
Moonlight.
I mean, Moonlight for me.
Yeah,
I don't
just put Moonlight. Just put it. Yeah.
you okay?
just put it.
Blair, you cool with that?
Sure.
And then I think it should be like maybe Handmaiden next or something.
Good
shit.
time, number 2.
A lighthouse. I would my baby's lighthouse for 2, but
Just put
Lighthouse,
good.
I'm down with that.
I would
I'm
put it
fine
in
with
the-
I'm perfect with Moonlight if Lighthouse comes
Yeah,
afterwards.
I'm fine with that too.
What a chaotic duo at the top there. I love that. But so the Lighthouse number 2,
I'm cool with that.
Let's-
Yeah.
Yes, please.
and then number 3 is the Handmaiden or Under the Skin.
Ooh, Under the Skin, bro. I
Okay.
forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah,
It was
I
on
feel I'm
3
waiting
of our
for
lists.
Felix's reaction.
Yeah, I don't even think that should be on the list at all.
Really?
Oh shit, dude.
Fuck.
I feel like we shafted all your takes here, but I mean, I want to put Good Time high just because Felix had it at number 3. I had it at number 1, but
Yeah, good time. Come on. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, fine. So
could I
We'll
put that
do-
at 3 or 4 maybe?
wait, what was number 3 supposed to be again?
Fuck.
Animated,
We're just
right?
Under
Or
the
Under the
Skin.
Skin.
Or
Under the Skin.
and Good Time.
I think-
that
okay.
those are the next 3.
Under the Skin needs to be number 3. I'm sorry, but that was on 3 people's list.
That's true. That is true.
And
Yeah,
then Good
you're
Time.
right,
Then
yeah,
how about
yeah.
that? Then
Under
Good
the
Time.
Skin
Then
3, and then
Handmaiden.
Good
Okay.
Yeah. Under the
Okay.
Skin, Good Time, and then Handmaiden. Yeah.
Those are those were in my top 5 originally too, so I'm happy with those. What
And
about
then-
Portrait of a Lady on Fire?
I think Parasite should be above Portrait.
Oh fuck! I
Even though-
forgot about Parasite. Wait.
Yeah, Parasite should be above Portrait.
Yeah. No, I was
That's
like,
tough. That's
but
so
that should be
tough.
like number 2 or 3 though.
Oh.
I totally
What,
forgot it was on
Parasite?
the
No.
Yeah, I think it should, but yeah.
I mean, I guess on a culturally impactful, objective level, sure. But if we're factoring personal favorites, no.
True. True.
It made
number-
the list off of pure objectivity at this point. Now it has to suffer the wrath of subjectivity.
So number 6 then? Is that cool?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't want to touch
Yeah.
Lighthouse again.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah. It needs to be Parasite and then Portrait, probably.
And then Portrait or
What's after?
Climax.
I hate to say I'd put Portrait above Climax.
Oh, thank you.
Even
I
though
would.
I know I almost picked Portrait. That was like before it was Climax, it was actually Portrait. But I was like, nah.
I'm surprised at that one. So then 8 is Climax, and then
Then
9
is Hereditary. I
is
guess.
Hereditary. Okay.
I think Hereditary goes above Climax. So I'm the only one here. So nobody agrees with me.
I think
Climax-
Felix would agree with you, right?
No,
No.
I put Climax above Hereditary.
Oh hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
No, I always struggle because Hereditary is just so fucking like just such a cultural milestone in film, you know. But
It's a great movie.
And it is amazing.
it made the top 10 without being on anyone's list. So
It's
Yeah.
it's the best horror movie of like it's the best straight up horror movie in the last fucking like I don't know how long has it been, like 8 or 9 years.
2018.
I see. I would personally say it's The Witch, but I could see that take.
I'm a witch girly. It's true, but I love Hereditary.
But is The Witch a straight up horror movie? Like,
I mean, I would say it is personally.
Uh,
I mean, there's other conventions, but it's easy to categorize it as a horror as opposed to like The Lighthouse.
Exactly.
To be fair,
exactly. That's why I was like, The Witch. Oh, yeah, but two Robert Eggers is a bit aggressive. But anyway, top 10 of the 2010s. I will read them out for y'all. Number 10 is Midnight in Paris for Felix there. Number 9 is Hereditary by Ari Aster. That one's for Rye Bread.
Yes.
Number 8 is Climax, which is what I did after the movie ended. Number 7 is Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Burn, baby, burn. Number 6 is Parasite. Number 5 is The Handmaiden. 4 is Good Time. 3 is Under the Skin. 2 is The Lighthouse, and 1 is Moonlight.
I love that list.
yeah, that's a great list.
Can you just say it one more time again?
Let's go.
Just one more time.
Okay. I'll start from the top this time. Moonlight
cool.
at number 1. 2 is The Lighthouse. 3 is Under the Skin. 4 is Good Time / Uncut Gems. I forgot to say that.
Oh yeah.
We all basically said that at one point.
Yeah.
Number 5 is The Handmaiden. Number 6 is Parasite. 7 is Portrait of a Lady on Fire. 8 is Climax. 9 is Hereditary. 10 is Midnight in Paris.
That's a good list. That's a great list.
Yeah, I agree. Felix's preferred Paris movie is Midnight in Paris over Paris, Texas. It should stay.
Damn.
That's not 2010s, you know.
No, I'm just saying, yeah, Paris titles. All right, that's the show basically. That's our list of the best of the 2010s. I think we got through it all right. We got a good list going. Not a lot of arguments this time, so I love that.
Were there a lot of arguments like in the 2000s?
There have been, yeah. This like I think back to the 70s episode, and it got pretty heated. But
Oh,
you know, it was for a woman under the influence, and I was like,
Oh
heavily,
yeah, that was the big
yeah.
contentious one.
I was like, it has to be there, and I don't think it ended up making it, but fuck it, man.
I was
you know?
I was rooting for a woman under the influence.
I think it got taken
Yeah.
out by Scorsese with Taxi Driver,
Oh well,
Oh.
you can't
Which is
argue with
like-
that one.
which is why I sounded like such an asshole because I'm like I'm arguing against Taxi Driver, but I was just so passionate about
yeah.
Cassavetes there, but yeah, great list. Thank you guys for coming on as always.
Thank
Felix, I would like to plug for him the Medium Cool show on YouTube. But also he had a short just cut that was released recently. I don't know if you want to talk about it or plug it. You know, I've seen
yeah.
it. It's a fantastic short film, so I'd recommend it.
Yeah, I want to send
Go
it to
for
you
it.
guys, but yeah, it's a lo-fi horror short film. It's like 20 minutes long, and it's kind of like, yeah, it's like a inspired by Italian horror, inspired by like definitely like some like dogma shit, like documentary realistic type shit, but it's very like fantastical and supernatural and shit too. And
You directed it?
yeah, I wrote and directed it, and I edited it, and Jake is in it.
I'm in
Oh
it.
shit!
What?
Yeah.
I'm in like I'm like an extra basic. I'm like in one scene, but
Can I find it
Yeah.
on your channel?
Yeah, Felix Kristensson. It's
Okay.
yeah.
I could send it in the Discord chat too if you guys
Alright.
want to check it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Felix Kristensson. That's my
It's
channel.
really fucking good. I watched. It's really good. You guys would like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Awesome.
It's unlisted right now because I'm putting it to festivals, but I'm gonna send it to
Yeah.
you in the Discord. So yeah,
Awesome.
And then-
Absolutely.
and then the Medium Cool show, which is our talk show about pictures as well, like that. Yeah.
They're like the Siskel and Ebert of our generation, right there.
Mhm.
Even better. Yeah, thanks, man. Oh, you're gonna have to come back, obviously.
Yeah.
The
we'll-
film premiered in the theater. It premiered at like a festival like a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
that's cool.
amazing, dude.
Mhm.
Me and you are like in the same boat, dude. Like I I made a short film last October that's
Mhm.
been that's been being screened at a bunch of like festivals all throughout this year.
Hell yeah.
And it's just been such a crazy experience, like just seeing like your work on the big screen while everybody is like reacting to it and shit, and coming up to you afterwards and telling you what they thought about it and having Q&As. It's just such a weird but really cool experience.
Mhm. It's amazing
um
seeing in the theater for sure. That's dope. Is it a horror movie or what is it?
yeah, it's a horror.
Hell yeah.
I can also
uh
send it in the Discord. See if you guys want to check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, put it
Yeah.
In
in
our
the
chat. I'll
Discord,
send
bro.
both your guys' shorts in there.
But your new movie that you were shooting recently, what is that?
yeah, that's a psychological horror film.
Okay.
um
That's sick.
yeah, man. That's gonna I have a rough cut of it already without the score, but in terms of like when it's actually ready to be like presented to people, it's probably going to be another 2 weeks. But I'm not going to premiere it until my film festival that I'm going to be hosting on my channel at the end of October. I was going to say that if you wanted to submit your short to my film
I
festival,
was
you
just about to
could,
say, dude, put it in Carlos's festival.
Hell yeah.
but
That's-
but you said it was 20 minutes. That kind of goes over the time limit. Wait,
Yeah.
how long is it exactly? Is it like 20 minutes on the dot? Or
It's like 20 minutes, like 30 something seconds.
I think I can make an exception for that. Just
But we
I'll
know
watch
each other
it.
now. We know each other now.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
would want that film in your festival, I'll say. So you should make the
You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it, dude. But for
Yeah.
sure. I would love that, man. I would really appreciate that for sure. And,
Hell yeah, dude.
nice connections being made
this
here.
is so fucking awesome,
Awesome.
show, by the way. Like I love the series and I love being on here. Like thank
Hell
you
yeah.
yeah. Like this
I'm
is-
glad you were able to come on. I know we talked about it for so fucking long about getting you on here, so I'm glad we did
Yeah.
it.
But like what a
Um,
great like episode to do though.
It was
know?
great.
Oh,
This was
yeah.
a fun episode. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
It was yeah. The Decade series has been a really like just
It's
makes
been
me
a
so
hit.
happy doing them. Yeah.
People really like it, man. This series got a lot more views than I expected. People are really liking it. So,
Oh yeah. I
by
like
the
that,
way,
yeah.
like huge shout out to all the viewers on my channel that watch the podcast. I know that these have been long. It's always 3 hours plus and shit. So I was a little worried that we wouldn't really get many views, but I appreciate all the views we've been getting. Like it's just I'm so like grateful to have y'all, like to have a viewer base that is willing to sit through 3 hours of film talk. It's amazing. Like I couldn't ask for anything more.
Well, you guys are really good at it, you know. That's like you guys know a lot
Thanks,
about
man.
movies. Like
Thank
so
you.
much about movies and shit. Like it's
Well,
great.
you
to
too,
actually
man.
fucking
Yeah.
play it. Thank you. Yeah. That's why it's great to
Definitely.
like just talk about it because out here in LA, like Jake and I like run into so many people who are like in the industry or like want to do film and they don't know like
Anything about anything.
yeah, it's kind of
Oh,
sad
man.
a little bit.
It's very
Yeah.
very depressing. Yeah.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna say the same thing. Like I've run into like plenty of people who are like making movies. I'm like, I feel like they don't really know much film, and I'm not trying to like insult them or anything, but it just seems
Mhm.
like if you're into making movies and you want to make movies, like it's good to kind of get just I guess a little cultured on like all these kinds of different filmmakers and all these kinds of different styles and stuff.
Mhm.
For sure.
Yeah.
But it's
But,
right.
like-
Felix is right though. There's a lot of people that are doing what we're doing, and they're just not like to the extent that we are, just film nerds. And
Yeah.
and it becomes we try to be we're trying to be filmmakers, but it's also like film nerdum is also become like I don't know, like a part-time job for me, just watching movies just so much. And then that's why I joined the Discord, honestly, because I was like, it's hard to find people as obsessed with films as you are, and to find you guys was definitely just fucking awesome. So that's
I mean,
another
I'm-
plug. Join the Discord.
I'm glad
Uh,
you're being a little more active in there. It's been nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad I could actually participate more. It's been great.
Yeah. Also, don't mean to shill for Felix, but if you want to join the Discord, bro, seems like you fit right in, man.
I gotta get back more into this is like the first time I use Discord with you guys in like
Yeah.
fucking 5 years, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, I gotta get more into it.
You gotta
Nah,
join,
man.
dude.
If you join, man, you'll be able to talk like this like all day, every day with people. So yeah.
Share
yeah.
your hot takes in there. It's always fun. Yeah, check it out. Blaire, anything you want to plug? It's an honor to have you doing this.
I really appreciate you inviting me to like such a big series like this. Like it's so fucking awesome.
Of course.
The only thing I would just say, like my Letterboxd is melancholia _ that's it, really.
Great name for a great film.
Great film.
Yeah, thank you again. Seriously, you and Carlos for doing this whole thing. I don't know if we're gonna do the best of all time. I know we talked about it, but
That'd be crazy.
I know we talked about bringing Perry on for that one. We'll definitely, take a break and then reevaluate later on about that. But it would be pretty crazy.
The debuts.
I don't want to.
We're doing that. Yeah, I'll talk about that. Just go ahead, Blaire.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, like, obviously, for your show, Jake, like, I want you to like invite more people, have a variety, but it'd be cool to do a little side one day, because I've only been in the decade ones, but
yeah. Mixing it up. I know, like a few like a month or so ago, we weren't able to do this, and we did like the comfort movie episode, and honestly, it was just really like it felt good to change it up, not at all like shade on what we're doing right now, but yeah. But we'll definitely have everyone here on for other episodes in the future. But for now, it feels like we've wrapped up the decade series, so we'll put a pin in that for now.
Yeah.
Felix, you mentioned the directorial debut episode. Carlos is gone.
Sorry.
Okay, I'll keep going. I'll plug something real quick.
My fucking battery died, bro.
It's all good. It's all good. I'll wrap this up. We're going to be doing a directorial debut episode, like our top 5 directorial debuts by directors. Felix is coming on for that. Mike is actually coming back, and possibly someone else. We'll figure it out. But that's going to be coming out soon. Subscribe to the Cinebums, subscribe to the Misfit Pond, all that good stuff. And we will see you guys later. Thank you so much for listening, as Carlos said. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Bye.
Ciao, bella.